going. We don't have to have no official whatever. Continue on.
No intro, no toast, none of that. Yeah.
Man, run the toast, man.
All right.
Yeah, run the toast,
run the
man.
toast.
Okay, let's be good.
We love that.
Let's be good this week. Everybody bring it in. We're about to begin. Missed y'all. I'm glad y'all with us again. I do appreciate everybody listening, everybody that comes up and says something, everybody who might text or whatever. I really do appreciate it. Somebody recently said another person said they be arguing with us.
Yeah.
On the way to work. And that just means at some point we got to go live. But before we get started, everybody, let's bring it in, raise your glass, and let's do this toast. We all fall, but we say don't trip. We all been called, but all stall a bit. We all stand tall into that time we slip. Just admit, without the grace of God, I'm really bad at this. Yes, sir. Fellas, what's going on? What's been going on since we last got together? What's been going on? Who want to jump it off?
Jump off. Say what's good with you.
Started the new gig.
Gig.
I got a full week of it, and it's cool.
Can we get a little hand clap for that?
Can we?
Hey,
sure.
yeah.
New gig, dog. We celebrate.
We do. Appreciate that. No, it's going good. You know how you just be trying to pick up on the culture, and I think I mentioned this. Like I could tell they really targeted people in my age range because it's like everybody that's older, a little salt and pepper, even the ladies, is all around my age, and it was like, that makes you feel some kind of way. But at the end of the day, any kind of gig, you're looking for a demographic. You know what I mean?
They typed that in the chat GPT. Who are the people that don't be crashing everything? Well, give me that demographic. Give me more. Tell me more.
But it's cool and it's family. You could tell like a lot of people who've been there for a while, like in the morning when everybody's like picking up their cars and stuff. It's like real family, like, you know what I mean? It's like people hugging each other. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, y'all really like this. So that's promising, you know what I mean? Because if you go there and you be like, everybody just be staring off in space and mad and not really talking to each other, that's a whole different culture. You'd be like, man, I hate this place. And you get them people bringing the whole mood down. I'm like.
Nobody ain't showing off their baking skills yet? Nobody done brought in a pan of muffins and all that?
Not yet. But I could see that.
Yeah,
I could totally see that.
Because you get them millennials, they just gonna be drinking iced coffee sitting on the couch. They be like, y'all gonna get out there and drive?
You already
what time
know.
you gonna get out? Oh yeah, when I finish this chai latte,
they ain't really wanting that.
Yeah.
And then it's like you can go. Oh, this was a funny part because then I started treating it like Uber, right? So I pull up to a little hotel, use the restroom. A hotel I used to go to all the time by my house because I know they had real clean bathrooms, right? So I go, and then I'm like, Uber, I'm sitting in the car, like, I'm going to get a hit, right? Mm-hmm. Just sit there. I got it on available. I'm sitting there maybe about 5 minutes. The dispatch call in on the car. I answer. I'm like, yeah, what's up? They say, hey, man, you just sitting there? And I'm like, yeah. I was like,
this how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
This how it works.
They like, nah, bro, this not how we do. You gotta stay moving and keep moving. So I was like, oh, all right. I didn't know that. That wasn't clear in the train. I didn't care. It wasn't like I was just trying to sit there. So I just went on because it was close to like the beach city, like Manhattan Beach.
Yeah.
I just dipped over there, and before you know it, boom, somebody balling need a ride because that's what a lot of it is. It is, some ballers who need rides. And you could tell because they be having them high-level conversations when they get in the car. You be like, man, talking about owning jewelry stores and stuff like that. I'm just going to go to Beverly Hills today and just shop. You guys can go, get lunch at the same time or whatever. And I'll be sitting there driving like, can I go with you?
Right.
get some stock tips.
Yeah.
For real, because you don't sound like you're gonna have a stressful day today. You sound like you on vacation, but you're not.
Bookie had me driving around a millionaire dude in a Rolls Royce. You know that, right?
I remember those days.
This man used to have me driving around millionaire people in a Rolls Royce, man.
Bookie had a side hustle that we didn't know about, I think, around that time. Because I know him. This dude, he had something going on. He just turned you on to one of his one of his people. But yeah, he was the first one driving around super official people.
Man, you
before
get treated,
any of us.
You get treated different when you driving around that Rolls Royce. But here's what I had to tell him. Don't worry about me, fam. Whoever driving this big old boat does not own it. You do not buy this big old thing to drive it.
Yeah.
So whoever is in the back seat, that's who you need to give the dap to. Don't worry about me.
Anytime a cat give you his credit card, bank card, and like, here to go to PIN, go get this for me. He like,
he did that for me too.
Yeah,
he did that for me too. We talking about the same dude because Bookie would drive for him, and if Bookie couldn't do it, it's called James.
So let's come clean tonight. This is a good time to come clean. What was the wildest thing y'all experienced doing that?
Oh man,
here we go. Look.
I've heard conversations that's like, yo. Now I gotta look over my shoulder. Heard conversations like, yo, man, the fat ain't got no roll up window like a limo. Like, I'm gonna roll this joint up. Man. Like, I do not need to hear none of this conversation.
Hear that.
Yeah, I was asked to drive a car that didn't have any people in it. It wasn't gonna be no people in it, but it needed to get to a certain destination by a certain time. And don't worry about what's in the car. Just drive the car, pull up. Somebody gonna meet you and then drive off. So, but you could do that. You could do that. And I started thinking like,
what am I doing?
What am I doing?
No, I started thinking, I already know what I'm finna do.
Yeah, you already know, but I don't want to know.
Like, how do I explain this to my wife from the police station? Baby, I was just driving.
Man, let me tell you, it be going down in this city.
LA ain't
like it is with. No Joe, you don't know who you rolling around.
But you know what I found out is that we the dummies slanging on the corner. Yes. Everybody else is indoors.
Yes.
We the only dummies outside on the block.
No, what I
exchanging illegal stuff just in broad daylight. Everybody else is in the buildings.
What I learned is that there's more things than drugs to slang.
Absolutely.
For millions of dollars.
Yo.
That's what I've learned. Like, drugs? Oh, nah.
Nobody does that.
That's like stuff.
Stupid
stuff. How about take these through Africa, through through the Middle East and bring them back? Yeah, what? Oh yeah. Oh, let me step out. Let me take a Pepsi break while y'all finish this conversation.
Man.
I know.
Yeah.
They was like, pull up to this such and such NBA star's house. We'll be back in a couple hours. Or pull up to this one time. One time they sent me to pick up somebody from the Four Seasons. This is Four Seasons by the Beverly Center. Mm-hmm. And I was starstruck. I ain't gonna front. I was starstruck. It was that girl that Steve Harvey had won. Remember the Steve Harvey year when he was like, such and such from the Dominican Republic is the winner.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. He was wrong.
Yeah,
it was the Filipino girl or something like that.
Yeah.
That Dominican girl was who I was picking up, man. That girl was so bad. And she was in one of the Fast and Furious joints. So she was out here doing promo. She was doing press for the Fast and Furious joint. Man, that girl was so fine. And she was so sweet, bro.
Yeah.
She was so cool. And I was like, this dude is serious, Bookie.
This dude
He's serious because she was at the peak of her powers. She was just in the movie, just runner up for, whatever. Yeah. What's that, Miss Universe or something?
Yeah, I think it was Miss Universe.
And he had pulled her, bro.
You pull up to certain clubs, and they just automatically open the door like, oh yeah,
it's such and such.
Just open up. Yeah. They don't stand in line. Just go straight into it.
Yeah.
Oh, and when you drive that, you're Mr. I'm Mr. Bookie.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Hey, Mr. Bookie. Yeah, I'm Mr. Bookie there.
Mr.
Yeah,
it's
different, bro.
It's different levels. It is, and people like. So yeah, man, I've been picking up them folks, and dropping them off. But it's a mix of regular folks too. A couple people in there, and because just like Uber rides, normal rides, the dollar amount go. That is telling me who's spending what. So when it's like, oh, $6, I'm like, I'm finna take somebody to work. Yeah. just like me and hit them. But it's a mix. It's a cool little gig. It was a busy little week. We saw somebody renew their vows.
Man, I'm on my third wedding this summer, fam. I'm on my third wedding and my second funeral. We know too many people.
Yeah, man.
So I'm going to my third whatever.
Yeah.
It's either that might have been my third wedding, and it's another one coming up, like another renewal joint type party. So it's like it's that season.
Boy, it's like, I've been to enough of them. And then I got a chance to do. It was an engagement party, but I got a chance to do the playlist battle.
Oh yeah,
man, it still work, James.
The playlist battle is hard.
It still work. So as soon as we have an event, that's exactly gonna be a part of it. It just work. What else happened?
Yeah, get ready. My 30th anniversary gonna be a karaoke playlist shebang. Big dog. It's a couple years away.
Black folks love
30th. We're gonna put all this stuff together.
Okay.
Playlist battle, karaoke, but y'all got to karaoke the songs that kind of map out our little love affair, me and my wife. You know what I mean? It's like specific songs. Y'all could pick specific songs, but they all got a little sentimental moment in our journey.
That's dope.
That's part of what I wanted to ask y'all, because that's what I was on. Like, just keep going to wedding after wedding after wedding.
Okay.
I was gonna ask y'all, like, how was y'all? What's the soundtrack to your journey with your girl? Like, if you had to think of it, if it's a couple of songs, like it was one song from back in the day called I think it's called Baby I'm Ready, something like that. It's basically like a player saying, like, I'm gonna just put down my player card and just get right.
The murder was the case soundtrack.
Hey, man, we're all the way.
Yeah, it had to be something very dramatic. Nah, I'm just clowning.
Yeah, that's funny.
Nah, I don't know. It's a good question.
It don't have to be a soundtrack. It's just like, what are some songs? What are some songs? Some albums?
My go-to, one of mine is because it's just old school. I just like it. It's Al Green's "Simply Beautiful."
That's an album or a song?
Nah, that's a song.
Okay.
Somebody just remade it too.
Dope.
I was just listening. I was listening to KJLH. Somebody just remade it, but I would say that Al Green's "Simply Beautiful." It's just something about it. It's classic. It's different. The dude really sounds in love, and I just like it. Real soulful, real cool. I think it just kind of describes my love.
It's a trip because like Keith Sweat Greatest Hits would be the soundtrack to me and my wife love affair, but she hate Keith Sweat voice. Like she won't let me play no Keith Sweat for nothing. You ain't never heard no Keith Sweat in my house in your life, dog.
I'm like,
never, because she hates it. She won't let me play no Keith Sweat, man.
Like somebody could like hate a voice like that, but I guess I was just saying that because T was talking about it was this comedian. Oh, Josh Johnson, the dude I've been listening to, and maybe I've been listening to him too much. But she was like, you know what? I think he's funny. But I got to be honest with you, honey. I hate his voice.
Really?
And I was like, you can hate somebody's voice. And now that you saying that, okay.
Keith Sweat got some bangers that I would put on there. Bangers, but I can't include none of them.
She ain't with that.
She ain't with no Keith Sweat, nothing.
Yeah, she don't like Mary J or Faith.
She won't let Mary J, man. It's my whole childhood. She knows she gotta let me play Mary J. Blige though. She put her foot down with the Keith Sweat. I'm not playing
Mary J.
Mary, we know Mary can't sing, but them songs was hitting. Man.
Nah, she got some classes.
I believe her. I believe Mary.
Like My Life. That
album.
That album
that's my high school.
Yep.
Man,
My Life is that classic.
That's my senior year of high school, man.
I remember bumping that cassette.
Yeah. No skips though.
No skips.
No skips.
Bumping that cassette on the way traveling to see my pops, going to Kansas City on a plane, and I don't know, it was like last minute, and I picked it up. I almost want to say I bought it at the airport because I'm just looking at something, to listen on the trip, and I don't know if it was that moment that kind of made it. First of all, that record is dope, all that record, but I think just that moment in time, My Life. Bookie?
But you know what I heard to tag along with what y'all was saying this week. I seen a couple Instagram videos. I don't know how I got on my feed, but they were talking about J-Lo. Oh, I know how it came on my feed because I watched that Marlon Wayne's interview.
Okay, with Shay.
Yeah, and then they were talking about J-Lo, this and that. So like J-Lo stuff started rolling through my Instagram feed.
Okay,
they said that all those vocals in her background, all her music wasn't her. They said that she can't sing.
I can see that.
Yeah, they said she can't
them
sing.
Ashanti backgrounds
That's
was
what I was about
loud,
to say.
son.
It
I
was
remember that when
Ashanti.
them Ashanti
Yeah.
backgrounds was loud.
Yeah.
I remember that when I was hearing them live because I never thought J-Lo needed to be near nobody mic. First of all, she should not.
But
have
think
been
about it.
singing.
When you said that, think about like, have you ever really thought of her as a major singer? Like somebody who just
Spanish. She had this Spanish era with her husband Mark Anthony that we ain't
Yeah.
we don't know nothing about that. But
Yeah.
apparently, it was
Yeah.
through the roof. It was
Yeah.
top tier.
And
from what they
it was
said.
it was about some like get back kind of stuff that she was dating somebody and it went bad, and then they was like, it was some kind of relationship that she was in. I can't remember how it went, but they was like, we're gonna put her up front because despite somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And
I hear
so
you.
they start using people. They had Ashanti singing in
because
the
she's not
background.
really known for singing.
All that,
Bro,
bro.
she's not.
She's known
it
more
was
for her
shady, bro.
acting than she is for singing.
Her acting is top tier.
Yeah, that's
She
why
got
they.
some dope movies. But
Yeah.
that
And
singing,
she got her
can
her
have that.
start from the Wayans brothers.
Yes, absolutely.
They the ones that put her on.
She was on Living Color. She was a dancer.
She was a dancer, but
Yes.
they said Keenan the one that was like, "Yo, she talented, bro. Like
yeah.
you can do more than this."
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It
Keenan
was
seemed
crazy.
like he could spot talent. He seemed to be able to spot talent.
Genius.
Like to spot Jim Carrey before anybody else, and like he had a because I was listening to that interview, and it seemed like Jim Carrey had a failed movie before in Living Color, whatever,
yeah.
and Hollywood was through with him. Like,
Did Keenan get his flowers yet? Did they tell the whole story yet? Because he done.
let me tell
Jamie
you.
Foxx. Look at the roster,
Yeah.
fam.
he gonna have to do it himself, bruh.
His brothers could do it at any.
Yeah, their
anytime.
brothers and them can do that because Hollywood ain't gonna do that for them. Just like the story you was telling how they really low key created the NFL halftime show because of the move that they did.
That's a story.
They showed, you know what I'm saying? They showed how you can like run them numbers up in during that time frame because they really wasn't doing nothing, and it made the NFL be like, we got to spend some money on that. So yes, they somebody got to do that because they really
J-Lo was
changed.
in the background of her own songs, man. Them songs was not her.
That's crazy, ain't
The
it?
Ja Rule song with Ja Rule ran that song. Ashanti is all over the tracks on.
Dude,
even the lead vocals, it
Yeah.
sound like it's Ashanti. So they was saying like your one dude that be doing the stories on social. I be on the edge of my seat like, dude, tell the best.
Oh,
stories.
yeah.
He tell the best stories.
Yeah.
And he said that a lot of them reference tracks they just press play. It was like sing over it.
That's
You know they throw
That's
you the
crazy,
reference
right?
tracks.
I mean,
so you
but
can make it your own.
We lived through the Milli Vanilli, scandal, right? They was doing big numbers, and then it come out that they ain't singing nothing.
I didn't even mind when I found out they was
I didn't
still
care
Boy,
either.
they was still dope. I didn't even care. Get your money, fam.
But hey,
Yeah.
that's what all the artists doing now anyway.
Man.
They
Some
doing
people
it-
I mind, but
They
but
doing
Milli
it now
Vanilli, I was
anyway.
like, y'all go on, man. Go on and get your bread. I ain't
Yeah, I
worried
really
about-
wasn't
That
mad
didn't
at
bother
them.
me at all.
I wasn't shocked, like, oh nah.
That's
But
like when you find out Cardi wasn't writing her verses. I don't care.
yeah, that's
She's
true.
spitting. I don't care who wrote that.
That's true.
She's
Her
spitting.
and her dude was in the news a lot this week.
Oh, I didn't see it. I heard he went left.
yeah,
I heard
man.
there was some revenge
It's bad.
stuff
Like
going on.
you think about like being on a level, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as an artist, and tell me when it's okay for like one of y'all to be on live and y'all just talking. You could talk crazy about whatever. That ain't the part I'm tripping. But the other one come into the comments.
That ain't what happened.
Y'all on that level.
Yeah.
And dude got to come in on the comments and just try to say something. And then you got to clown like, I ain't answering my phone. I don't care about you being with other women or whatever. I'm like,
So you talking to me live, you calling my phone on the side, and you texting into the. It's a mess.
it's a mess, but it lets you know, one, they human just like everybody else. But man, like you can still look like a sucker at that level too. Cause if you really trying to look like the man, and I know you can say whatever, I wouldn't do that in that moment. If if my girl going off online and she going off or whatever, for whatever reason, I'm gonna fall back. I'm just gonna let her do what she do or whatever, and then I can speak on it later in my own way.
But she be talking reckless, man. She make you
But-
want to strangle her. Dog. She ain't the regular person.
But let your lady do that. You know what I'm saying?
She's crazy though. She's always been this. Cardi always been a firecracker.
No,
like
I
that.
think what it is that
it's different.
she's very heartfelt, and it's like you don't sense that she putting extras
Nah,
on.
it sting harder when it feel like it's really.
Yeah.
I feel like I believe her.
Exactly.
I didn't see this last little thing, but
Yeah.
that's how we found out about Cardi. She
Exactly.
seemed like the realest person on that.
So what it
Probably
is,
loving hip hop, whatever.
what it seemed like is she just keeping it 1,000.
Yeah.
And now you want to stop it or whatever, and it's
But
like
she made a comment.
Yeah.
I read it
yeah.
and I was like, whoa. Like, how do that make you look though, as a female?
What she do?
She says
the PG version.
What's the member of the Migos that got killed?
I can't think of
The
it.
young one.
Takeoff.
Takeoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, well, what about them nights I was with Takeoff? I missed those nights. Or like she says something
Are you serious?
like that. And I was like, oh.
Don't laugh, Jay.
She's like,
Whoa.
I miss those memories. She said something. I was like,
That's
ooh,
what I
man.
meant. I didn't even know that. That's what I
Like-
meant. She be going over the line,
Yeah.
Jay. That's what I meant. She be
Yeah.
crossing the
I mean,
line.
and she's
she know
trying
how
to-
to hurt you.
Yeah, she's trying to hurt
She
you, but
know how to hurt you.
it's not. But from the public
'Cause
view,
she
you
hurt.
looking at her, it's like, oh, so you was messing with.
Yeah, I hear what
You know what I'm
you're
saying?
saying.
His
Like-
boy, or you secretly this and that. Like, how did that make you look as a female though?
But this
Super
probably
hood.
after he probably done acted a fool.
Yeah,
True.
but still though,
'Cause
like
his-
you messing with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
messing with
your-
family. You
your
right.
man-
You right.
your
That's,
man-
that's
man's-
ain't that the get back though?
Yeah.
That's the get
When-
back. If you
when
really
play
want,
it-
when you really want to hurt somebody, right?
when you playing that game like that, absolutely.
That's
James.
the get back.
I'm gonna get with somebody close to you.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna
yeah.
do something you ain't gonna be able to live down.
Yeah,
that
I
type
undo
stuff.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I know you got females that like, you know, they want to, stand up and give an ovation for that. Like, yeah, go get him, hurt him hard. But then you got people looking on the outside like, that's like,
was a
whole
little-
activities.
He
You know what I'm
was a
saying?
He was a little loosey goosey.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They
Like,
do not care, fam.
yeah, they don't
They
care,
do not
bro.
care. They going
It's like there's no standard.
It's
It's
not.
like, bro, before it was like, I was just keep it classy. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
Even we know that there's nothing new. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
But women hid those things.
Yeah, they did.
Now they parade it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep playing. I'm gonna DM your daddy. Keep playing.
Man.
Yeah, that's
That's what
Hey,
they gonna
and they
I'ma
play
DM your daddy.
harder
Keep
than
playing.
some of the dudes.
Yeah,
now,
keep
bro.
playing.
women. I think naturally can play harder. Men may not be as emotionally attached.
Yeah.
But you talk about play hard. I think, man, women can play way harder.
Man, they know how to hurt us, man. They know how to hurt us.
Make us move on. Be like, I lost, and just move on. I lost.
Throw in
Let
the
me
towel,
just
man.
let me just move on.
That's wild.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's double standards, and I understand it.
Yeah.
But it just looked totally different. I mean, I know some people say it's equal now, but it looks totally different from when a woman does it.
Oh,
It is.
Speaking
It-
of double standards, we got another conversation. After my fault, Jay. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead.
Double standards. I heard you might have some little explaining to do to your seed. Your seed got
Oh
some,
yeah, man.
having some interesting moments.
So
lately.
yeah, so I had a teaching daddy moment this week.
All right.
So
Boys to men moment.
so
Boys
check
to
this
men.
out.
Let's
so,
go.
So let me set the stage here.
Okay,
right?
please.
So I'm coming home from work.
Yeah.
Daddy kicks his shoes off, chilling on the couch with wifey, talking to wifey.
Yeah.
Son comes in, right? Son like, yeah, mom, I got something to tell you. Well, first my son just sitting there and he like got this hoodie on his head and he like rubbing his head. And my wife looked like, what you doing?
Yeah.
And then I look up and I look at him, and in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this dude, he did done something. This dude did done something.
You got a hoodie on in the house.
He
I'm
done
like,
done something.
and the first thing in my mind, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
He done crossed over. That's
Yeah.
the first thing Dad said.
And so I'm like, oh man. And first thing is, I ain't gonna lie. The first thing in my mind is like, I hope you strapped up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hope you was protected.
And I'm like, I hope you didn't do it, but if you did, I hope you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the first thing comes to my mind. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And so my wife is just like, what did you do? You didn't. And first thing he says, Mom, no, I didn't have no sex or nothing. so it's a sign of relief for her.
Yeah.
And then so for me, so I didn't drop to the next tier.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you didn't have sex, but what was the next tier? You know what I'm saying? And me, everybody know me. I just straight up said, "Oh, did you?" You know what I'm saying?
Did you?
Yeah. And then he was like, "Oh, no, they ain't having." And then my wife. Then at this point, my wife is getting a little irritated.
Yeah.
Like, what are you in here for?
Yeah.
And then so my son take off his hoodie like, I got a hickey. This girl, I was kissing this girl. She gave me a hickey. And then my wife just like, I can just see her just the red. My wife is yellow. So the red is boiling like the thermometer. When you see the thermometer go up to the top, it's red. And me, I'm relieved.
Yeah.
It's only a hickey.
Exactly, because you didn't drop 2 tears.
You know what I'm saying?
And you like,
I'm like,
okay, we just in the hickey zone.
Yeah, in the hickey zone. All right. My wife it boiled up. So my wife is like, who is this girl?
Yeah.
And he like, this girl I was talking to. Is that your girlfriend? No, it's not my girlfriend. So you let some random girl just put it, and my wife went there.
Yeah.
So you just let some girl mark you up, some random girl that
Yeah.
And then I'm like, now I'm falling in line with my wife. Like, okay. Because once he said that, you know what I'm saying, I was going to let my wife handle it because I was going to have my talk with him later on.
Sure.
Because, you know what I'm saying, I always have the father-son talk.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm later on.
Yeah.
So let my wife
let mom do what she got to do.
Let her get that off.
Yeah.
And then so, that's his first hickey and, you know what I'm saying, all that. But I had a conversation with him previously, even before he started 12th grade. So, he's going into college next year. Mm-hmm. So, we have had those conversations. I had the conversation with him was what I would love for him to do and what my expectations are. So those 2 different things I explained to him. Mm-hmm. Like, I want him to be saved. I want him to live a Christian life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I expect him to always be a man of integrity. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I told him, I love you is not no pickup line. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking to a girl, that is not a pickup line.
Say that.
Yeah.
So these are the conversations I had. I have my expectations and what I want. I want you to be saved, but I expect you to respect all women.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
If you don't
That's
be
good.
saved.
That's good.
So that's the conversation we had.
Yeah.
And I told him, I always talking to him straight up. I don't want you to go to college and be drinking and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I don't want you to do it. But if you do decide to drink and all that, don't put your drink down and don't pick it up and drink it again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I have to give them these rules.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want you to go around smoking weed.
Yeah.
But if you do, don't smoke nothing you ain't seen rolled or you ain't rolled yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so these are the conversations that I have with my son. My wife my wife had the conversation.
Of course.
The biblical conversation, and I have the biblical / hood / you know what I'm saying, real life
Just in
conversation.
case.
Just in case conversation. You know what I'm saying?
You in Proverbs with yours.
Yeah. So it was just a new step in life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That just another level in life that we went. You got a son that's gonna be considered grown 18 in a few months. You know what I'm saying?
And obviously got girls liking him.
Oh yeah. And that was another conversation we had. I was like, man, you got too many girls calling you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you talking to too many females. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I can say you have a friend, but all this. And at half the time, he on the phone when he FaceTiming these girls, and sometimes he put the phone down, he walk away making a sandwich, she's still on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with these girls? You know what I'm saying? So
what kind of relationship do y'all have?
He like, oh no, it's not my girl, just a friend, just somebody we're talking to. You know what I'm saying?
Just a friend.
So this is another learning zone for me as a parent because I'm like, we've never dealt with social media growing up.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So we don't know about all this Instagram, talking to different girls on Instagram, because most of the girls we talked to was either from our school or female we met around the way that may went to another local high school.
Yeah.
Instagram, you talking to girls in
Pakistan.
5 different cities, 5 you know what I'm saying, 5 different high schools around, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
you got access to more.
Yeah. And my wife is like, my wife is big on this, like, How you talking to some girl you never even brought around a house? You never even brought around the family. So like you talking to somebody that we don't even know. And see, I had to, and there was another conversation we had. Don't give no girl your location.
Oh yeah, that's another.
We don't do that.
Yeah,
we don't give girls your location.
Yeah,
you don't pull up on no girls that you because these girls will set you up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So like these are the conversations that we having.
Yeah,
that you know what I'm saying.
And he at that age.
Yeah,
you gotta
have it. And see, and I was like, my level of, I don't even say anger because I wasn't really angry. Angry. You know what I'm saying? This is just now if it was my daughter.
Yeah.
Now I'd have been.
That's the double standard you're talking about.
Now if it was my daughter.
You know that's coming.
That is a different situation.
Go on and confess that because that's coming.
Absolutely.
Now I'm upset. Now who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you got an older brother and 2 older cousins that you know what I'm saying, that need to go talk to this guy.
Need to see him.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at.
Just
you know what I'm saying?
Just so he know.
Yeah.
She ain't by herself.
She ain't by herself.
It's not one of those.
Yeah.
Nah.
Right.
And these are, and when I'm saying her brother and her cousin, they're all in high school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, oh, sitting a 22-year-old.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're all high school, but yeah, they're football players. You know what I'm saying? And they will,
they'll play the part.
They'll play the part.
They'll
play
play
the
the part.
6 foot and taller. You know what I'm saying? They play the part. They play the role.
That's it.
So so that was it's just a learning experience for me to you know, because they're like we always say. I always talk to James. We always say like, man, there's no script to this, no blueprint to this. Ain't nobody left us no directions, especially for this new age stuff. You know
that's what I was
saying?
about to say because they're better off because you guys can have conversations when. You know, back in our day, we was just trying to figure it out ourselves. It wasn't like, I don't remember men sitting down and saying, well, you're at this. I was just out there experimenting like a wild scientist. Like, is this going to work? Is this what I'm supposed to do? And then my peers are telling me, oh, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. And unfortunately, you know, I just succumbed to that. It was because this is what my peers is doing. This is what we're supposed to be doing. So personally, I probably wouldn't have been as aggressive as I was if it wasn't for my peers. I would have been a happy-go-lucky, wonder years, happy days type of dude.
Nah.
But my peers is like, boy, did you smash? And then it's like,
that's all they want to know.
Smash? What is that? Nah, I mean, she like you. We out, and then before you know it, you asking the other dude, did you smash?
Yeah.
You've joined the club too, and so it's good that you know you're there to have those conversations with him and guide him. Because by the time I was in a senior, man, please,
it was over with.
But
Hickeys, we past hickeys.
Yeah, but what's important is that even in this situation, and I tell like a lot of young parents or those that's planning on having kids, like build that relationship where your kids can talk to you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's just good that he felt comfortable just to come and talk to us about it.
And talk
but we have that kind of open relationship, even with some of the stuff I'd be like, oh,
but I'm gonna tell you,
you tell your mama that.
That's a result of y'all not being too heavy handed.
Yeah.
Because if y'all was too heavy handed, I ain't finna tell y'all. Because the last time I told you something, y'all went off. So I most definitely can't tell you this. And then it starts that. But if y'all had that, like you said, that open conversation, that openness with each other, they will just come to you and say whatever. Yeah. James, you about to say something?
Oh, I was just listening. But yeah, the other thing I noticed is that there's some kids that pick up on their parents treating them like trophies, and that they can show them off to their little peer group. If they pick up on that, then they're going to start hiding. They're going to start hiding everything. If they start noticing that the parents, the mom and the dad, prop up the kid to show the other parents, the other whoever's
that they good.
I'm such a great parent. Look at my kid. If you if you start treating them like trophies, the kids pick up on that and they start noticing like, okay, I can't make my mama look bad, so I'm just gonna hide everything else.
Yeah,
I can't make Pops look bad, so I can't tell him this. I can't tell him that. So y'all obviously haven't been doing that because what you talking about don't happen in those situations most of the time. If you start like you said, being too heavy handed, or using them as a trophy case for how wonderful you are as a parent, when they pick up on that, they just start hiding everything.
Yeah, because I rather for my kids to learn from me than learn from the streets,
Right.
or learn from their friends. You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly.
I'm gonna tell you the truth and tell you what it really is.
Right.
At the end of the day, you know.
Question though, what did he say that kind of gave you a sense of hope? Like, oh, okay. Like, you know, without, you don't have to give out any detail, but you know what I'm saying? Like, was there a moment where, you know, you doing your talk, mom's doing her talk, and you know, you're trying to get through? Where was the moment? Was it something that he said? It's like, okay, I'm getting through to him.
Yeah, well, my wife told me this afterwards. She's like, I knew something was going on because he asked me to pray for her when he went to school. and my wife like, because my wife prayed with my wife because she dropped off at school, so she prays with them in the morning when they go to school. Yeah, and she's like, yeah, pray with them. And then, but when I was dropping them off, he's like, hey, Mom, can you pray for me? And then she's like, well, we praying at the house, but I prayed for you. So she's like, okay, yeah, I knew something was going on.
That old girl had set up the meeting already, man. Old girl said, ain't nobody home today. She had already set it up.
Yeah.
Man, he was like, I don't know if I don't know if I'm being able to resist the devil.
But you got to know the signs of your kids too, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as he came in there with that you know, that
hoodie
on his head, scratching his head, I was like,
strange.
I was like, yeah, he didn't.
Was that the same day he asked for prayer?
It might have been that morning he asked for prayer. It might have been that morning.
Jay, it was set up.
The day before.
The whole rendezvous was set up already. Like on Thursday at 2, we're gonna go to this room with such and such. And he was like, I don't know.
Boy was convicted on the way there.
Dang. Yeah,
that's crazy,
man.
It was something that came up. It's not on the doc. I just put it on there, and this was because I just tell it. This is because we was chilling at the reception at the wedding, right? But I was at the table with 2 of my pastors, right? And you know, the wine comes out. You know, they break out the wine or whatever, and so for some people, it could be an awkward moment. Will they? Will they? Or won't they? And I was sitting there. First of all, I've drank with my pastor before. One of them in particular before, just being out, him and wifey, with me and wifey out, and it's no big deal. But then I started feeling like bad for them because it's like, why can't we just let them live? You know what I mean? Why don't we just let them live? You know what I mean? It's and not make them feel weird. Now, I'm not saying your pastor has to drink and, you know, or he doesn't have to, or either way, whatever. But if he just happens to, you know, because there's liberty there, right? He would probably stay away from being a drunkard, right? In front of us, he would probably do his best to do it. I'm not saying he should like turn up all the way like that. I'm just saying if they do, and you're at a wedding, and you know they're doing a toast, you know, so there's gonna be champagne or whatever. But this particular wedding, there was a couple bottles on there, and you know, both of the pastors that was sitting there, we don't have to say their names.
Nah.
But both of them was there, and they drank. And then one person asked them, you know, is it hard? You know, is it a hard thing to do, being a pastor, turning it off to where it's like you don't have your pastor's hat on, and you're human just like us, and we're all sitting here drinking, and ain't nobody really tripping. Should we be giving you a hard time? You know, or looking at them crazy, or they feel some kind of way. And then some of it could be because, you know, they have, you know, people have, they may have counseled or talked to people who may have struggled with that. And, you know, but again, it's not a personal struggle of theirs. And I'm like, yeah, let them live. And it was just like, I don't know. And I'm glad they did have a good time and nobody really tripped. And I don't think, you know, anybody was saying anything or whatever. But I started to feel for them in that position. It's like, dang, like they got to be extra super careful in this area where other people normally don't. And it's just like, you know, I'm just going to be out with my wife chilling. And you wouldn't think nothing of it. You wouldn't think nothing of it, James. I wouldn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
But they have to do maybe some extra mental gymnastics, you know, based on church family being around them, and I was just like,
They do.
let them live, bruh.
No.
Let your elders or whoever over you, if that's the liberty they choose, just let them live. I don't know why I had that.
They're gonna
moment.
be Jamal Bryant if you let them live. They're gonna be Jamal Bryant.
Jamal Bryant gonna be Jamal Bryant. You feel me? No matter, and he don't even need no liquor. He just Jamal Bryant. You know what I mean? So it's not like that. But it just made me feel for him in that moment. Like they didn't care. They didn't trip or whatever. They didn't really,
You notice that they have to play like a certain.
I was reminded of that in that
way.
moment. That they got to move a certain way. And I'm like,
so my question. This is my question to y'all, right? Because I'm always thinking. I've had this conversation in my head before, right?
Yeah.
So, is this a black church thing?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've had
quick answer. Yes. Go ahead. I already know where you're going, but yes.
Because I've had dinner with white pastors before, right?
Yeah.
I've been invited. Me and my wife been invited to homes of white pastors before, right? And so there's this white pastor that invited us over, and he's a pastor in Thousand Oaks, right?
Yeah.
So he invited us to the house and had this nice little feast. Mm-hmm. He has a wine cellar in his house.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh, we're going to bring out the ginger ales and the Pepsis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They brought out the wines automatically with the dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, what would you like? Would you like cab? Would you like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it was like a regular thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to, black pastors, this and that, you know, the devil's juice. You know what I'm saying?
You get all of that. The reason I jumped on it and said yes, because similarly, the first, and it was when I was dating my wife right before we got married, or we may have just got married. I think, no, it was right before, because it was just a gathering that her white Christian friends they were Campus Crusade folks, so they were from all over the country, but they were currently staying in Inglewood. And actually one of the couples stayed in Compton as well, and this is a white couple. And they were having like this little jazz night or something at their crib. So somebody was going to come play music or whatever. And we went to it. It was young couples there. But it was the first gathering where it was alcohol just spread out. But primarily it was mostly white folks there as professing believers. And I was like, whoa. Now, I grew up in church. I've been around church folks since I was a little boy, since I could talk, right? And it was always what you said. It was always kind of like taboo, and they put it aside. Now, a part of my mind says, well, maybe it was because there was so much abuse of it in our neighborhood or in our community or whatever. I'm like, maybe it was more liquor stores in the black neighborhood than some of these white folks' neighborhood. I could be wrong about that. That's how I used to justify it.
Yeah.
Because we've had more trouble with it.
You used to say we have that uncle that it ruined his life.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the white people had their uncle that ruined their life too. We just responded differently. Yeah. We began to taboo. They had the same stuff going on in their family. They got that alcoholic cousin or what have you. But it's a cultural thing.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe I worded that wrong. Maybe not a black church thing.
I know.
Maybe
it's
a cultural thing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I believe
because, like I said, I think I said it before. Even when you go back to their home countries where a lot of Europeans and people come from, wine is what they do with their meals.
Yep.
Like
preteen kids,
soda and Kool-Aid and stuff is an American kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and they drink in a lot of European countries. They drink much younger too. They don't have the 21 and older.
Yeah, exactly.
rule.
And then I've seen some 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Drink with their parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
As far as the
other
cultures. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't an abuse thing. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, this is what we drink. We drink white with our poultry and our fish, and we drink red with our beef and lamb. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just their way of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My theory on it is that there's so many pastors that are the top of their own food chain. They don't have anybody that pours into them. I think that's what's really at the root of most of this stuff. Right? Like you said, there's some well-adjusted pastors who have noticed that this is not going to change how anybody thinks about me. Where did they get that from? They got that from other well-adjusted pastors who can mentor a group of pastors. They might have to take them into a room for a weekend and just remind them, hey, you're human. Yeah. Hey, take care of your kids if you have kids. Hey, take care of your wife if you have a wife. Hey, think about your own walk with Jesus. Don't just be married to the church, you know what I'm saying, and just never think about your own walk. You can't pour from an empty cup. And I think I had like one of those moments not too long ago where my pastors came back from one of those retreats where it was just all pastors ministering to all pastors. You know what I mean? They need that. They need that more than we will ever know. And I think that especially in the black culture, the black church culture that I've heard about, that I've experienced, most of those black pastors are the top of their food chain. And even if they get into other rooms with other pastors, it's just to compete. And I hate that that's how I say it, but that's what it looked like. It when they came into other rooms with other pastors, it was just to see how much money this church had raised versus how much money that church had raised versus how much money this church has raised.
So they don't drink? I'm trying to see the connection.
So here's the connection. The connection is like the culture of a lot of black churches is built on one person having nobody that they have to answer to and nobody that they can confide in. So they just create their own governments at each little building. Every little storefront down the street, they got one way of doing it. The next man got another way of doing it. And them dudes be running solo, man. And it's not easy to run solo. The scriptures don't support running solo. Just because you're the pastor and you're the lead of that flock doesn't mean you don't need peers. You need other people that nobody else know what a pastor goes through. We don't know what no pastor's going through. We got an idea, but we ain't never ran no church. So I'm saying like the culture that would create this false sense of whatever that is, it's like, oh, that's taboo. We can't touch that. Like that come from being your own counselor. Nobody else counsels the lead pastor. Think about it. If you the only one teaching,
so what
you
saying,
always preaching, you never getting poured into?
You saying just because they're solo, they come to that conclusion. I'm trying to see because what I see is more of like these people understand their liberties and they truly understand them and they live it out. And it's I don't
think about your liberties, the ones that you kind of had a feeling like there's nothing wrong with this. When did it really click that you were okay? When you saw and heard other people say, yeah, we can have a beer. Then you took what you thought was true and you started living it out like, oh, okay, I'm good now. Okay, so I know I'm not the only one smoking a cigar. Okay, I got it. I'm not the only one having a drink. Okay, got it. I kind of knew that it wasn't in the scriptures.
So, you're just saying
but when I saw somebody else on my level doing it, it's like, oh, okay, I'm good. Okay, and if it's 50 people that don't agree with me, that's okay because I know the 50 that do.
I see what you're saying.
And if you're a pastor who only interact with people below you, you're the top of your food chain.
Yeah.
You never have peers that say, hey, man, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's okay to take a week off on your anniversary.
And I
take a week off.
I think they do more damage when they don't live out loud.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And what I mean by that is like you go home and secretly have a beer because you didn't have a rough day.
Yeah.
For those where
Yeah.
I like to pop a cold beer and drink a cold beer and watch the game as a pastor. But then you see people coming on to me high. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it does do a disturbance.
And then now people are looking at you like, oh, what else is he hiding in with these sneakers? You know what I'm saying?
Because my
Instead
boys,
being
I was going to say my
straight
boys
about it.
Who moved to Atlanta, they were members of our church here, and they moved to Atlanta. And actually, the pastor that the church that they went to was recommended by the pastors here at our church too. So it wasn't like they just went on some rogue mission. But at their church, and I missed it the last time I was there. I've been there a couple times since they've moved, and I missed it. But their men's meeting with their elders and laymen and all getting together, man, they're gonna have cigars and drinks. And this is after Bible study.
Yeah.
And it's, and you would think like here we are on the West that we quote unquote liberal.
Yeah.
And we probably doing everything. Y'all probably smoking weed at y'all Bible studies. No, none of that. We seem to be more conservative, especially in the black community. We seem to be more and more conservative than those who may be down south, where it's maybe probably more of the culture as well to have a lot that may have a lot to do with it, where it's because they black too. So it's like it ain't just a black thing. It's what's probably going on in the culture, but it's just weird that out here, because I can't name, I'm pretty sure it is, but I can't name a black church where they display that liberty like that, like I just described it. I don't know the black church out here that I'm pretty sure
with the solid to go with it. Because we probably can find one that's wilding, but they wilding like,
That's
yo,
what I mean.
Hitty parties in the back of the church. Yeah.
that list gonna come out eventually, right? We ain't talking about that. You talking about solid people that you would respect and that you would give your family to disciple.
Yeah, exactly.
And then still have that kind of freedom. That only come from having other people on your level that will affirm that for you. And none of us are on the pastor's level. So we can say, oh, pastor, you good. That ain't the same as when another pastor or a bishop or somebody who's been in the ministry decades says, come on, fam, we all having a sip. We ain't drunks. We not drunks, but I mean, we're all okay with that is what I mean.
Yeah, because my homeboy, he has a cigar. He knows someone that owns a cigar lounge out where he lives.
Yeah.
And the guy that owns the cigar lounge is a believer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so after his lounge closes, once a week he opens it up for Bible study.
Yeah.
Nice.
So people come over, like other believers come over after the lounge is closed, and they sit in the lounge and they have Bible study.
I need to be at that.
They still smoking because they got all the fans and everything.
Yeah, they smoke cigars and they have their Bible study.
DM me that.
Yeah.
You see?
That info. I just need to know.
We need to broadcast live from here.
Brothers.
Look that up.
I just need to go in there. Brothers.
Yeah. But of course he's white though. You know what I'm saying? He's white.
Let us reason
is
together.
white. So you know what I mean?
I can understand that. But
we figured that.
Yeah.
we wasn't confused about that, but
not that part.
We figured that, unfortunately.
But yeah, that's just interesting. I'm not saying anybody right or wrong, whatever side you on, whatever. But that's just an interesting observation how some people have that liberty and it's cool within their church family. And then
I'm gonna tell you, Jay, you onto something. But I'm gonna tell you, do this. Go back and look at the people that you say that seem to have liberties. I'm talking about. We only talking about solid people. That's all we talking about. Go back and look at the people that you say are solid that have liberties and look at their network. Ask them what's their network.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got 8 pastors that come together once a month to encourage each other. Oh, yeah, I've been to 4 conferences.
I think you on to something.
Oh, yeah, my church sends me on 4 retreats. They got budgeted out 4 conferences for me every year. Yeah. I'm talking about the church pays for the pastor to go learn how to be a better pastor.
But what you said is that storefront struggler, he ain't getting down like that.
Fam, tell me who that storefront struggler is even talking to that's on his level.
That's true.
Who does he even talk to?
Now I see what you're saying.
That person is the top of their food chain.
Yeah.
And they make all the rules in that building, in that ecosystem.
Yeah.
And they don't have to answer to anybody. And the only other rooms they get in are with their competition.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's too
and I've seen that. What you've described,
Jerrold,
trust me, I've seen it like this, up close, very up close.
How much are you representing with First such and such Baptist? How much are you representing with Second Avenue Kojic? How much are you representing with? Oh, we got $3,000 for the anniversary service. Oh, what y'all got? We got $4,000 for the anniversary service.
Yeah,
bro, there's nothing in the Bible about that. First of all,
it's
dope to honor your pastors, but if the only time you get into rooms with other pastors
is to compete and all that kind of stuff, I've seen that, and that's usually some trash doctrine going around too. And it's
the same circle, Jay. You know it. It's that.
I know it.
All of the problematic stuff. That's that same room.
Yeah,
it's that same room, and I don't think those people are getting poured into. I'm not trying to demonize them. I'm saying, I wish those dudes were getting poured into.
In my
they be like, there's something wrong with your Napa Valley cab while he got on his Masonic ring. That's another conversation.
That boy, Bookie, you ain't never lied. So I really tripped about that. That was the 2 things. This was the other church thing that kind of came up. And I think I mentioned it a little bit, but church clothes, like, is that still a thing? It doesn't seem like it is, but it still, for some reason, irritates the heck out of me every time I come across it. Yeah. Like, and honestly, if I just be honest, I came across it lately at my own church. And I had to sit with it. It was in the bulletin. We was not raising money, but sending clothes to a mission that we support in Haiti, and there was an emphasis, and it's a, in all fairness, it's like a Bible training school for pastors or what have you. But they were raising, they were asking for donations for clothes, but the emphasis was on church clothes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, well, if people need clothes or whatever, just, let's send them some clothes, whatever. Because it was like, we're not talking about just anything. We're talking about suits, essentially.
Ties, dress shirts,
now,
hard bottom shoes.
Are they just trying to get them together and have a photo shoot to look like that? It could be, but that's not what it sounded like. No. It sounded like we want them to have this church gear.
The uniform for leadership.
The uniform.
That's the uniform.
Y'all know I'm anti-uniform because you mix uniforms and religion, it's usually a bad mix, right? But, all these people are solid, and the school is solid. I wouldn't be, not at a solid church at this point. So I'm talking about my church. But, I saw it and it was just like, I felt some kind of way. I was, I got on my little soapbox at home with my wife and I had to end with, okay, that's the end of my TED Talk. I had to end with that, with that line or whatever. But then I thought about it. I'm like, dude, that really gets under your skin. And like why? And is there really still a thing like in 2024 and beyond? That's church clothes. My answer is nah. Again, we have liberty, I think, at our church. You can come however you want. You want to come with the suit, that's fine. You don't want to, you don't have to. So nobody puts the pressure on. But I thought it was a little weird that we were sending these clothes off and it had to be a specific type to a country that,
it's hot. First of all, it's a hot place. It's humid there.
Most of the year.
Why they wearing 3-piece suits and ties?
Why would I want to wear
what you doing?
A suit there? I have something else to say about Haiti in a minute too. I don't want to throw it off, but but what y'all
ego talk like Trump.
No.
That's I'm hoping.
I'm James.
I just started praying. I just started praying, Lord.
All right, no, I gotta say it now. We're there. All right, so
this Dickie outfit is what's good for you. It's top tier for you.
so I'm having lunch with one of the dudes that runs the ministry that I'm talking about in Haiti. Mm-hmm. They're actually about to go back, right? And so I was clowning in the group text about asking him, but he brought it up, and this is what he said: understand clearly. He wanted me to understand clearly. Haitians will eat a cat. Just understand that. They will eat a cat. He was like, no dogs. We don't do dogs. Dogs is not on the menu. But he's like, Jerrold, he's like my next door neighbor. You like that cat that you got at the house might come up missing.
Let's be clear. My man was born and raised in Haiti.
This is culture.
This is not hearsay.
He was like, no.
Hey, y'all better leave Trump alone. I be trying to tell y'all. Trump be telling the truth, man.
Talk your talk, Bookie.
I be trying to tell y'all.
And he said, this is so funny. He shared this story. He said, and his sister and them got mad at him because it was just in his family little group text, and his sister was posting them videos like, they were Haitian videos, and they were like, I'm a lawyer or I'm a doctor, but I don't eat dogs and cats, and it was like I'm a business owner, but I don't eat dogs and cats. And so he crashed the party. He was like, look here, y'all. I feel where y'all trying to go with this, and I understand. But we are Haitian, and we know that there are people who eat cats. He said his whole family was getting mad at him. But he was like, it's just the real. He was like, the dog part, nah, that's fictional. Ain't nobody doing that. But your cat, and it's like, it's not like it's commonly sold either. It's not like, oh, it's in their market. Because there's some places where dog and cat is in the market. And I've seen them videos.
Why not?
Exactly, right?
Just cook it. Just cook it right. I'm in if you're gonna cook it right. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm in if you're gonna cook it right.
Yeah, and James,
I'm telling you right now.
Listen, I came to the same conclusion. I'm serious. I came to the same conclusion.
I can't get there with y'all.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. when we was in Florida, and we went to the gator place where we rode the little things and we seen live gators, and they said, "Hey, you know we got gator on the menu here.
Gator tacos right there.
Pull them out. Let's go." And I had
course.
never, ever eaten it. And there, and I ate it, and I was like, this like fishy chicken.
Right.
Gator is not a pet, though, man. I've had gator before.
Hey, speak for
Gator is
yourself,
not a-
man. You don't know who got a pet gator.
Hey, bruh, come on, man. Nah.
Speak for yourself, Bookie, because he said, my boy that I was having, my Haitian homie, he was like, he went into his neighbor's house one day and smelled something cooking. He was like, man, it smelled like real good. And they told him, it was cat. But he was like, man, it smelled real good. I'm like, I already know. I'm like, I might have been like, let me get a taste of that. Let me see.
So would you eat goat? Have you tried goat?
Listen. There's people, because I'm a foodie and I watch all the food networks and the travel channels and all these.
Okay.
Down south, they be eating them raccoons.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why not?
I got invited to what they called a wild party, right? And at the wild party, it was all wild meats.
Wild game, yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, so they had coons, they had elk, squirrels,
Rabbit.
all this kind of stuff. I'm going to Louisburger, bro. I am not about to eat your coon soup, your turtle pie. I'm good, bro.
the boy don't do pets.
That's where he draw the line.
Yes.
Yeah, if it's been somebody's pet or people put it in the pet category, he can't eat it. He got sentimental value.
Look,
So like a pig?
that's not a pet.
Yeah,
That's a
that's a
farm
pet.
animal.
No?
That's
No,
a pet
it's
to a
not
lot of people.
Man, look.
People have
Hey,
pigs for pets.
people have human pets too, so I'm not. Yeah, no, a real pet.
But you know
I'm
what?
not eating. Look,
Hey, make sure you say American because
Listen.
that's what you're doing. Just add the word American and then it makes
I
sense.
would eat some
That's it,
red
James.
snapper. I'll eat some filet of sole.
Yeah.
I'll eat some orange roughy. I'm not eating no goldfish.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever I see in your house as a pet, I'm not eating it. I would eat some chicken. I'm not gonna eat your parrot. You know what I'm saying? Like
I see what you're saying.
I can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking you. You can eat your cat with your fried rice or with your curry. You can eat some curry, wild cat.
curry goat.
You know what I'm saying? Get out of it.
First of all,
A goat is not a pet either, man. It's a farm animal.
First of all, I don't know how much Chinese food you may have been eating in Los Angeles, but
No, I don't go all them spots. No.
my Haitian homie was like, "Yeah, we think that we won't eat that, but you go to some of these little spots,
You might have.
and
you might have indulged.
this chicken is a little different."
It's a different shade of gray.
And
right
I
here.
wouldn't put that past people. I already know somebody that slid me something else, man. It's just the nature of man,
They
man.
breaded it and fried it and put it in
fried
some
it.
sauce.
And I wasn't gonna know, and they knew I wasn't gonna know either. And I ate.
Hey, look, honestly, bro.
Yeah.
Like my favorite hood Chinese food spot is China Gate, right?
Okay.
Over in the city.
Okay.
I only eat like shrimp fried rice and stuff like that.
Because you can see what it is.
I don't trust the chicken. It's in my mind. You know what I'm saying? And they cook everything fresh, made to order. It's not like sitting out there.
I hear you.
The only time I would eat something chicken from a Chinese food restaurant is if I'm at like some kind of like 5-star deal. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Where I know that you're under some kind of regulations. They not gonna.
But
you're
it's
not
gonna
gonna
come
risk.
out looking like a chicken, like a quarter of a leg.
You're not gonna. You're not gonna risk your business. You know what I'm saying? Like a PF Chang's or you know what I'm saying, or even higher. You know what I'm saying? A higher standard. Tao or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's just funny. It's just how you grow up, and it's your culture that dictates like what you'll eat. That's why I just like, biblically speaking, I think we got liberty to eat whatever animal.
Yeah, like put some of that red stuff on there, some of that little cocaine. Like my boy. Sprinkle some of that dust on there. That's all I can see is his videos. What I'm thinking it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
For real. So yeah, it's a cultural thing how we pick what animals to eat, like what fish, like you were saying, what type of bird. But I think I don't, because man,
It was eat like it over at Venezuela when they was eating the monkeys and
Hey man, I think
zoo animals. Going up in the aquarium.
I just believe that you have the liberty. If you can catch it, you can you can eat it. If that's your thing, you know what I'm saying? Now I probably wouldn't. Now I would draw the line at a monkey. I probably wouldn't. Cause I like them too much.
No baboon. You ain't gonna eat no baboon or nothing like that.
I couldn't see that. Like, yeah, because it's kind of like you. It's like they kind of in the pet category. They too cool to eat like that. You know what I'm saying? But
y'all remember the Faces of Death videos used to circulate around?
And then people,
young folks don't know nothing about that. But
they don't know nothing about
they had a monkey sitting at the table
with
his head cracked open.
And yes,
and they
I
was
remember
taking
that.
servings out the brain
And just eating it raw, bro. Like that was a thing.
That won't be happening. I was little too. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, why am I watching this?
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Faces of Death, bro. Some adult had to get that in order for you to see it. Because we as kids could not go up in there. An adult had to get that and rent that in order for you to get close.
Somebody ruined me, man. They ruined me.
I
seen
too.
all that stuff.
Man, we was not supposed to be watching that, bro. We were not supposed to be watching that.
Us.
You had to be 18 or over, and somebody had to. And by the time I was 18, that was long after Faces of Death. So I know I was super young when that was out.
Whoever made that built the dark web too.
The DVD guy
they was the
at
originators
Food for
of the
Less
dark
was just
web.
selling those to us, bro. We was
The DVD dude had them on
the
deck.
DVD dude at Food for Less was just no age requirement.
Hey, man.
Like 13.
Hey,
there you go.
I can't
Faces of
front,
Death
man.
5.
I miss the DVD, man. That used to just bring so much joy to my heart to come out there and just see like, oh man, you got everything. You couldn't. This is before the internet, so you just couldn't access it anywhere. It was like you had to get it from him, or buy it regularly or rent it from someplace. And I remember just coming out and just seeing all of them laid out. Like, man, he got everything. Then don't find a good source where it ain't like slum copies. It's like this is real good, boy. You stayed in contact with that dude.
What's the first question you ask him? Hey, dog, ain't nobody walking across the screen, is it? On this? Oh, no, this the studio copy.
This is studio copy. They smuggling these
copy right here.
I'm like, who risking their studio job to supply this dude, man?
I don't know. They was doing it though, and they was giving them.
But I brought that up because that made me see like, oh, we could eat anything. We could literally eat anything. I don't think I'm gonna go to the monkey brains, but y'all play with me on the wrong weekend. I'm in. I'm not gonna front. I'm telling. Jay, have I already ate some crazy stuff? Grasshoppers and all kind of stuff. I don't.
Boy, we went across the border. Him and my wife lost their mind.
I don't
because
care,
it wasn't. We didn't cross the border. We did. What was that? Where were we? We were.
I don't know, Puerto Vallarta or something like that.
I think it was
Cozumel. I don't know.
No, it was Puerto Vallarta, I believe. Right, but here's the thing that got me. Okay, you could try the insects or whatever, but they trying the insects off the street vendor. You feel me? Like not in a restaurant. Like, sir, would you like the crickets? Nah, this talking about some girl and her brother sitting on a bucket talking about y'all want some crickets? And they like.
I'm in.
That boy went in. I was shocked.
I see that video, bro, and I was just sitting at home like, yo, they wow.
I was like, boy, I was shocked. I was like, no, they was like, you sure?
Care, man. We eat pig. It's not too much further to go.
That is true.
Hey, no,
we eat pig.
The pig right now is cleaner than the chicken. People don't want to talk about that, though.
I didn't know that.
No, that's bad.
It's
Educate me.
chicken.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but
look
chickens
it up.
will eat anything.
Chickens will eat anything, and the way that they store on top of each other and they poop each other. Ask a real farmer. They'll tell you that a chicken is dirtier than a pig now. Because there's so much regulations on pigs.
That's why they want to tell you it's a free range.
Yeah.
So it ain't the ones that just
exactly. That's why they put that on a
free range. Mean he got 3 feet instead of 1.
Exactly.
And then cage free.
Yeah.
I mean they're running around. You know what I'm saying?
Happy chicken.
They're not all on top of each other, just eating each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, eating each other's mess.
That's how it is.
Yeah,
but now a pig will eat anything. You can kill a human and throw him to a pig and they can't find him.
Right.
I'm just telling you, you want to get rid of a body. Hold on. This is a fan stop, please. Nah, man, go watch some Criminal Minds, man. They'll tell you everything you need to know.
That's wild.
Nah. So yeah,
The traditions, man.
Yeah, back to the traditions.
The traditions
just about
is like
where I don't even
you
know.
sitting in a room by yourself. That's what I imagine. These traditions linger because the people who are teaching and preaching are sitting in rooms by themselves, man. They not getting nobody. I felt so safe.
Somebody help me out
let me
there.
finish this thought. I felt super safe hearing my pastor say, I didn't know they was doing this. They came back from a week retreat getting poured into by other pastors. I was like, man, something about that feels safe. My fault. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying, somebody out there, they may want to hit the email or something to help me out. And can somebody tell me, kind of like church history stuff, can they tell me where church clothes came from?
I was just gonna say that, bro. You just took that out of my mouth.
European church clothes, because that's what you're talking about. You ain't talking about. You ain't talking about that nowhere else.
Where did the idea of suits and ties come from?
So that's a European.
In the church.
That's a European thing.
Because it wasn't in Acts.
No,
it wasn't in Acts.
No.
So, somewhere along the journey, here we are.
I mean, clothes always been a conversation, but usually it was like, don't be flaunting your
flashy.
Don't be flashy. Like, don't be flexing your status on everybody. We here to worship. We ain't here to.
And you don't never flash.
We flipped it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we flipped it.
But nice attire and ties is flashy. It is expensive wear. It does cost more than regular clothes. It is the thing. I mean, if you get a nice suit, what's cheaper? Jeans and a t-shirt or a suit? So you telling me we got to go, and then you telling me that, okay, we want to help some people out in an area that ain't flashy, but we're going to export our flashiness to them.
Oh, I hated that. I did not like the way that felt, Jay. I was with you on that.
So I'm
with you on that. I didn't like the way that felt.
Lawyers wear suits all the time, right? Why? Because they got look the part. A lot of people who sell real estate, same thing, because it's a
business.
nice projection of yourself. Mm-hmm. Every time I put a suit on and come around my church family, you clean up well.
It did look nice that night in Westcott. I was like, look and say clean.
Yeah.
I was saying
that's cool. Good. But to me, in my mind, special occasion, you stepped it up. You went to a wedding, you stepped it up.
Yeah.
You went out with the wifey at this black tie affair.
Word.
That's a step up. That's not common.
Then I come here on Sunday to be regular. I show up on Sunday to be regular, to be honest, to be open, to be transparent, to be authentically me. The safest space I've had all 7 days.
Yep.
And like, you clean up well. It don't sound like a compliment no more.
Yeah.
It sounds like, you decided to follow the rules today. I'm going to make sure I shake your hand, young man.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Fam, these rules ain't in your book, though.
They're not.
They're not in your book, Mr. Bible Church.
No.
It's not in your Bible.
It's not. So it just feels weird. Somebody can help me with that. And it's not like somebody coming at me and making me feel, it's none of that. It's just like, I've just never been comfortable with that concept.
Well, you got to know it's European. Now, I don't know, but we know it has to be European because don't nobody else dress like them. They got their own thing. If we was all wearing dashikis and if we was all getting shamed for not wearing dashikis, we would be able to trace it back to somewhere in Africa.
Absolutely.
Like, they got this from Africa.
Yeah,
this is the original uniform of leadership in Africa. So we gotta all wear. But what are they asking us for? A bunch of European stuff. So it had to come from there. And it had to be something that somebody at, whoever the colonizers were had to say, hey, this is how God expects you to look. It had to be some of that somewhere. Yeah. I don't know who.
I don't know.
Somebody
who
tells you
thought,
that's not the real God.
Yeah.
This is the real God. His name is Yahweh. His son is Jesus. And you need to worship him through this Bible. And by the way, he expects you to dress like me.
Yeah.
Somebody along the way had to say that.
Yeah.
Especially if they were slave owners.
Yeah.
What was you going to say? No, sir. That's not true.
Yeah.
What was you gonna say?
Yeah, and then
you had to do it.
Even when they talk about black slaves around that time, it was also, and that might be some of it. It was said that those who were allowed to gather and worship or whatever, it would be the day that they can look,
dignified.
Exactly.
Which is dope. We feel that.
So yeah,
When somebody says it like that, I'm like,
Yeah, we be like-
then you should rock that suit, fam, because this means something to you. But leave me alone.
yeah,
Is the other thing I be wanting to say. I don't be having the nerve to say it. I ain't front. I don't have the nerve to say it to that dude.
Yeah.
Because that suit meant something to him. That
But I wonder how did
know
it
nothing
change
about.
though? Because our ancestors, the slaves, they didn't have
the best of the best
you
either.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They wore what they wore. Like they
Yeah.
was going to church or the gatherings
yeah.
and wearing what they probably wore what they wore in the field. Because I
True.
doubt they had
True.
separate
But
clothes.
imagine not being able to look dignified, to be told all your week that you're not nothing, and then there's a moment where you can feel dignified. It would make sense to put your best clothes on because I've been
If you had
I've been
access.
dehumanized all week.
Yeah, if you did.
So this is the one space where I get to be a man. I get to be a person, a whole dignified person in the face of my creator. So in that sense, yes, I'm gonna. This dressing up is like honoring the Imago Dei. Like I was created in God's image. I'm not just a slave. So I'm putting this on to say, no, I'm a man or
Yeah.
I'm a lady.
Yeah.
I'm not just your girl, because they call them boy and they. I mean, think about all of that. So this would be like that suit represents a rebellion against dehumanization. So I don't talk too tough to that dude.
But,
Yeah.
but
Went
even
through
looking,
that, you feel
but
me?
when you look back though, even like, because my mind is going back now to even when I was like taking my art history classes and I'm thinking about like the Harlem Renaissance days and different things like that. That's how they dress regularly though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
wore the shirts
Yeah.
and the ties
Yep.
and then the little Applejack hats and
Yeah.
everything
I'm
on a
think-
regular.
I'm
that was
thinking-
that was regular in that.
Yeah.
in
I'm
that
thinking
era.
that was a form of protest, Bookie. There's a residue of protest in there because they used to have those signs that like, ain't I a man? Like I'm a man.
That was later
Ain't I a-"
on.
You know what I'm saying?
That was later.
But I'm saying that was their regular dress though. Because
I know what you're talking
if you
about.
look at them old black and white pictures, you don't really see them.
They was
like,
fly.
Yeah, they were fly.
But
You know what I'm saying?
everybody was.
Everybody was. That's what I'm
wearing,
saying.
yeah,
That was the attire
common-
of the
common
time.
attire.
You know what I'm saying? That was like their culture.
It probably was a status symbol, I imagine.
It depends.
Yeah, because these folks was broke.
But clothes, that's what I'm saying. Clothes always had like a status symbol. Like,
Yeah,
like
but
in some cultures, jewelry tells us that you're a hard worker.
But
you
I
know
think,
what I'm saying?
yeah, but I kind of think it was just like, I think it was a phase, just like when you hit the 80s, you had you like the baggy jeans or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it was the culture at the time.
But that was a form of protest. Well, fashion has always been like a voice of rebellion on some level. Not all the time, but it's always been one of those things where you're like, y'all want to dress up in suits. Hip hop generation said, we're not wearing that. We wearing 8-ball jackets and K-Swiss or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's always been a form of protest. Like, y'all not the only important, intelligent people because you got the 3-piece suit on. So there's an element of protest in a lot of our fashion. And I'm going down a rabbit trail, but all I'm saying is there was a level of dignity in some of these church clothes moments.
Yeah,
There's a level of
I can
dignity.
see that.
So
I can
when
see
they
that.
when they want to say that, I'm like, so you should wear your suit, fam.
Now, talking about traditions,
Right? But don't make me wear it.
Yeah, and making people follow traditions. Bookie, you had a coworker or an old boss or whatever go to the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yes, so my Facebook timeline was cracking. I was just like, yo, I had all kind of, the dude was left the faith again. Another guy left the faith.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there in a
was,
minute.
Then it was they were talking, somebody else was talking some what was it? Some other church stuff. And then it was what is the message that I sent you? Remember when we were talking about
Was it Philip Mitchell 2819?
No, it was when I asked, did I respond correctly
Oh
to
yeah,
this?
yeah. It was some.
Christians don't have to go to church.
Yeah.
Like, the Bible there said like,
Yeah.
you don't have to go to church to be saved.
They
This
hit
and
you
that.
with the show me the scripture that says I have to be in church to be a Christian. Where does it say that? Where does it say that not going to church is a sin?
Let's start at Acts. Just
Show
go
me
there,
that.
Yeah.
where it all started. We could have
Yeah.
just told them a whole book, not just a verse.
Yeah.
Give you a whole book. Of
Don't
when
you
it
think
started.
you would act like the people you joined if they started this whole thing and they
Yeah.
started it and it looked a certain way and you joined it? Like if you went to Alabama and you played football, wouldn't you wear the same stuff they would wear? Wouldn't you practice in the same places they practice? You part of the Alabama football legacy now.
Makes sense.
Wouldn't you look like the rest of them?
Makes sense.
Why would it change?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then even with that conversation, when she said, when the guy said, "Oh, she's the pastor and I'm the preacher," and I said, "Okay, nice conversation. Let me go to the next to the."
I'm out of here.
Like, you know what I'm saying? When he brought it to you like that, I'm like, and then he's like, "Oh, so you just," and so because I asked the question, I said, so before he even said that, I said, are you guys believers, or let me know.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, so you just assume we ain't believers because we said don't go to church. She's the pastor and I'm the preacher." I said, "No, I asked you that because I want to know how to respond to your question.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna talk to a believer differently than I talk to a non-believer.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, that conversation came through. Then as I was scrolling,
But what you tell him though? What'd you say back to him? Because how did you answer?
Man, it was
besides
the
no.
the thread was so long, and I just hit him with a few scriptures and they weren't really feeling it.
But I mean, like, if somebody else needed to have that conversation with somebody they know, what would you? How do you tell them?
I would, like I tell them, like, no, you don't have to go to church to be a Christian, but it is prescribed. You know what I'm saying? Described in the scriptures, like you need to be with your believers,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like nobody needs to be alone by themselves. You know what I'm saying? It said that you're a Christian. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and this is my thing. This is why I wanted to talk to him. Like, first of all, I think there's a heart condition, and you need to really see if you're a believer if you don't want to be around the saints.
Say that, dog. Say that.
If you have no desire to be around the saints,
you should check what you're doing.
I think you need to check your heart. You know what I'm saying? To see if you're really a believer. Because see, me as a Raider fan, I want to hang around my Raider community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hang around the Dolphins community. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a believer and you have no desire to fellowship with other believers.
Yeah.
And y'all still be in the Raider sports bar arguing about how this should have happened or that we should have kept Jacobs. We should have did this. But y'all still in there as family.
We still in there as
y'all
family.
Don't agree on everything. That's I mean, carry that through. That works.
But when you have no desire to be amongst a brother,
that is a red flag.
Yeah, it's a red flag. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah. But my ex supervisor, I'm scrolling through because we used to have these conversations on the sidebar where lunchtime, but she would never tell me because I asked her when I said, "Are you a Black Hebrew Israelite?" Yeah. She was like, "What do you mean?" Come on, you know what I mean.
You know what I mean.
She's like, "Why?" Then she says, "Why I got to be a Black Hebrew Israelite? Why I just can't be an Israelite?" I said, "Oh, so you're Israelite?" And then she said, "Aren't we all?" That kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That kind of conversation, And so I was scrolling because she never really answered my question. Then so we became Facebook friends. And then so as I was scrolling, she's at the Feast of Tabernacles.
There we go.
I said, yes. And the first thing I thought about Jay, I was like, here go the uniforms. And I'm scrolling and I'm going through the pictures. I'm like, where's the uniforms? I'm looking.
Yeah.
And then I find the dude with the little dangly things on his shirt. I said, he's out there. He's out. Yeah, they're out there.
Yeah.
But I'm just I'm like, bro, why do you?
It's the Bible talks about us getting caught up in these traditions and stuff, and I think and I didn't do a deep dive and study in Hebrew Israelites. I read Urban Apologetics. They kind of gave me some context and history in that book, but beyond that, I didn't really do a deep dive. My wife got all into it. She can most definitely break it down, but it seems like. And I'm just looking at the timeline because this is somebody, like I said, I grew up in church and I've seen different phases of it, and in this city particularly, and it just seemed like during that the time when a lot of that police brutality was going on, and
Trayvon Martin,
after Trayvon. Who was the I can't think of his name right now. He couldn't breathe.
Man.
What's his name?
Somebody Floyd.
Yeah. George
Floyd.
and all of that around that time, from Trayvon to around that time, what was happening was, I think, a lot of professing Christians, black professing Christians, started to feel kind of out of place.
Yeah.
And feeling like, man, they don't, even though somebody said this recently, they were feeling like we don't believe in the same God. That we can't believe in the same God of the Bible because you guys are not showing a lot of compassion towards this. Y'all on something else. And it caused some people who may have been on the fence and not really solid to be like, there is another way. And Hebrew Israelism like stuff like started to emerge, and it's been around. It based on that book I was reading, it's been around. It ebbs and flows, but it was bubbling up, I believe, because a lot of black people were just like wanting to still follow God, but not be a part of the American church, or what they viewed as the American church.
Yes, I'm with them on this. I got a question when you finish. So I got a question for y'all.
So I had been reading about that a while back because so it's big in the Midwest and the East Coast.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like it's been out here in the West, but now it's like the hot thing. You know what I'm saying? It's bubbling. Yeah. So my take on it was just like the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
A lot of cats go in and then they come out. They go in just to, when I say go in, I mean prison. The prison system, you know what I'm saying? Different things like that. And so they find a group of people, you know what I'm saying? There's either the Nation of Islam.
I didn't catch that.
I didn't either. They go in.
I'm just a civilian.
I'm thinking.
And that's what, when you looked at that, that's why I had to say, well,
go in. I'm thinking when he joined
prison,
the religion.
when you go in.
Yeah.
So when they go into prison, it's like, okay, I'm going to join this group.
Yeah.
The Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh, I'm joining this group. The Black Hebrews Israelites.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, when you go out there on Chris Shaw or Fig or Burbot, when you see, they look like ex criminals. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude got a tear under his eye. You know what I'm saying? This dude got, you know what I'm saying, some hood tatted on him. You know what I'm saying?
That boy gonna tell the truth.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's like, so you just looking for acceptance somewhere, you know what I'm saying? But you really don't want to live by no rules, really. But you don't want to live by rules, but you living by rules. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you think the church is too strict, but you want to go out here and you say, oh, now you can't eat pork, you can't do this. And I'm saying all this to say, like, when I'm looking down the Feast of Tabernacles, and that, right? I'm looking down the pictures.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me look to see what the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yeah, what they do?
So I know it was about the Exodus from Egypt, and you know what I'm saying, all this kind of stuff.
They had to live in tents,
and that's the thing. I'm looking
in the wilderness.
They had to live in wooden tents, different things. Like I'll go there, they got a Coleman tent up there. You know what I'm saying? From Walmart. You know what I'm saying? You gotta.
Wait a minute. You like? I don't think that's the rules.
I don't think that's the tent they was
According
sleeping
to
in.
the blueprint, I don't think that's it.
I don't think that's what they doing.
The Coleman with the front porch, like
you're not abiding by all the rules and regulations of the tabernacles and feasts.
Moses is not pleased.
Yeah. I don't think they was eating catfish. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
boy, these Negroes just went camping.
They went camping, bro.
Talk about the Feast of Tabernacles.
Man, you had a what we consider John the Baptist camping trip. Man. That's all you had, bro. Yeah, you would have called it the Feast of Tabernacles because you got shingles on. You know what I'm saying? And it's around the Harvest Festival. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you got this Coleman tent. It's not made of wood, sticks like you supposed to.
Nah.
You're not looking at the moon and the stars and all this. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on,
you
man.
Stupid, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. People just like to be extra.
This is my take. I'm telling you. I'm gonna shock you, Bookie. We're the true Jews. We're the true Jews. And what do I mean by that? I definitely don't mean what the Hebrew Israelites mean. You already know that. We're the ones trying. Like, so there's a group of people who say the church is too strict. That's true. But there's another group of people who say the church is too negligent, too loose, too undisciplined.
Yeah.
The true problem that some of us have is either one way or the other. We want to prove our value to God. We don't want to be saved. We want to be rescued. We want to do it. Let me do it. And we have this sneaky suspicion that if God would have just left us a chance to just do it, we would have figured it out. Like, I could have made it to heaven. I don't need you to rescue me. I don't want to be rescued. I want to do it. And that's really like, when you see the scriptures, all the different things that the Jews kept giving, like the Jewish leaders, I should say, kept giving Jesus a hard time because he kept saying, y'all not going to never pull this off. You know that, right? Y'all, if y'all look in the mirror long enough, you're going to realize you're not going to pull this off. You're nothing like what the standard is.
Yeah.
And they was like, who you think you talking to? Like, we all right. And he'd be like, fam, you're never going to pull this off. You know that, right? Eventually, you're going to have to come clean and realize you're never going to meet this standard of what it takes to say, for God to have to say, okay, I got to give you a seat in heaven.
Yeah.
But all of us on some level want that. We want to say, I made it. I did it. I was able to do it. And that's the struggle that we going through right now. Like at our church, we preaching through the part where it says, it's not just you just needed a little bit of help and then now you're okay. No, fam, you wasn't nowhere near about to get into heaven. Like, you wasn't close. Your heart was far. Like, okay, you never cheated on your wife physically. But the amount of times you went back to that music video for that one.
Yeah, that special scene.
That one scene that's your type. Yeah. You didn't mind that it hit your timeline a few times. Like, you looked a little too long. Like, there's so many ways that we have proven that we're just like the people in the scripture. We want to do it. We want to prove our value. And God and Jesus came on the scene and blew all that up. Like, you're never going to meet the standard, fam. Y'all need to be rescued.
Yeah.
And a gang of people was like, no, thank you. They flat out said, I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to do it. I want to do it. Let me prove that I can do it. And I think that that's what we're all like that. So when we read the scripture, we see people doing these feasts and trying not to eat certain things. It's just like back in the day when it was like, okay, we're gonna find a way to be good enough. We're gonna find a way to be good enough. And Jesus was like, bro, you're never gonna pull that off. You just take the rescue package, because y'all not finna make it. And they killed him for it. They killed him for that.
Man, I just thank the Lord for grace. Because I love a good al pastor taco. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank God for his grace.
I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't want these hard
I don't want them
rules.
hard laws and rules that
man.
I gotta.
But like James was saying, I think people do that because it make them feel like they're doing the right thing. And they always have this little air to them like, we're doing the feast stuff like, what are you doing? Oh,
do you keep the Sabbath this week?
Oh, you're bringing that Christmas tree in the living room. That's what you're doing, And then they got to bring up,
and they're only hitting like 7% of the laws. Like, you missing like 93%.
Say that, man.
But it's
true.
It's making them feel good or whatever. But I want to switch reels a little bit from the tradition, just to hear y'all's take that another one bit the dust this past week that come out, and they're somebody that we they're not a big name or whatever, but they're in our community,
if he was in our community.
Yeah, if he was in our community here. So another artist came out to say that I'm not a Christian anymore. But before we dive into that, let me just tell you how I really felt when you showed the video, because I think Bookie, you shared it, and then I listened to it on the way home just to hear they side. I'm just gonna tell y'all real. I'm gonna be honest. Be really.
Oh, you listened to him talk?
I listened to the whole
YouTube
thing.
video?
Good. I need to hear what happened.
Listen, I don't care. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to tell them. Like, at this point, it's like, okay, you're not a believer anymore or what have you, and I get it. That's between you and whatever's going on with whatever you was professing at the time. But now it's getting to the point where it's like, bruh, y'all can keep that to yourself. Just tell your church family. Just go and tell them that you leaving the church and y'all ain't gonna be back. Yeah. We don't, and I know from their perspective, it's kind of like, because everybody that kind of knew them was, a part of the Christian hip hop community and all this kind of stuff. But I'm at the point where it's just like, because it's starting to feel like it's just a fad, and then the reasoning that I'm hearing is lame. And it just makes me feel like, okay, there's answers to all your questions, and I don't know why you, for whatever, didn't get to them, and you feel like, oh, they're not being answered, and so I'm done. And then it's, oh, I'm on to a peaceful journey of discovery of whatever that I know ends in weeping and gnashing of teeth, period. If I believe the scriptures, that's exactly where that leads. Now, I know you don't believe or whatever, and you clearly communicated, oh, I don't believe Jesus is God. Well, hey, man, that's the ticket in. And if you don't believe that, Jesus is very clear, where people in it. Now, am I just trying to scare folks and this is just scare tactics? No, I believe the word of God wholeheartedly. I believe I've seen its effect on my life. I've seen when I've gotten away from it and shunned it, what life looks like, and getting back to it and deep into it. I trust it more now than ever before, and relying on, because some of the stuff is, well, some of these characters, there's no historical data for that. Well, guess what? The biggest one in the book, Jesus, there are historical data on. So okay, so all right, you miss Noah. You ain't got no info on Noah, but there's sources outside of the Bible that clearly communicates that somebody named Jesus, who came from Nazareth, actually walked the earth and did the stuff that he did. Sources outside of that. So it's kind of like, some of the excuses that, I've heard so many times now, like I said, that it's feeling faddish to the point where it's like, I don't care.
Hear. But this is what you got to keep in mind, Jay. This is what you got to keep in mind. These dudes discipled us. Like JR, we talking about JR. JR discipled me.
All right, let me stop right there, Jay.
Let me finish.
He ain't discipled me, brother. He made some good beats and some songs. Okay, but and one of them I'm still knocking to this day. The Smile with him and R. Swift. That's on the classic list, and I'm not gonna stop bumping it.
And that joint is discipling you, whether you want to admit it or not. He is helping you believe. He is helping you understand. Every time you listen to that joint, it's strengthening you. That's all I'm saying.
That's just because it
that's
aligns.
Why they need. That's why they have to come clean. That's why they have to explain themselves, because it's so like super fan.
I get that part.
I was a JR super fan. You feel me? Like, this man helped my walk. So when he comes out and clears the air and says, "Hey, I'm no longer a part of that," it means something. I mean, it means something to him because he knows he's influenced so many lives. That's what I'm trying to say. Same thing Fanatic did.
I can respect.
They want to come clean and say, "Okay, guys, I know you feel like I helped you in this way of thinking, but I want you to know I no longer subscribe to this way of thinking. Just so you know, when you listening to my stuff, that
but then
I'm not on that anymore."
But then it's then a little of, I got the truth now.
Yeah, well, nobody's come back with anything, so I'm waiting for somebody to come back with anything worth talking about. So we already know. Yeah. Nobody comes back. Everybody leaves. Nobody finds anything. Yeah. Because there's nothing to find. Yeah. So we get that. My point to you is like you were saying, when you get tired of hearing it, I get you. But they do owe it to their fan base to say, okay, I know that you guys are listening to this and it's helping you believe this worldview. Just know that I no longer subscribe to the worldview. And to do what you want with that is what they usually say. Do whatever you want with that. Keep listening to it if that's your vibe. Or stop listening to it because, I don't subscribe to it. But I don't see none of them taking it down, so they don't mind keeping their streaming going. Because if they really was upset, I think a lot of them would take that stuff down. Like, nah, y'all can't listen to this no more. I think this is bad for the planet, and y'all got to stop spreading this lie. I don't see nobody doing that. Nah. While they go figure out what they want, what else they want. But I'm sad because it's another dude that this dude discipled me, man. This dude kept me going.
I ain't giving him that much. I give Fanatic that much. I'm not giving that dude that much. That dude sang some good tunes. And I'm glad he's saying some stuff which can be an aid. I get what you're saying, but he didn't help me work through nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He just he made me have a good time and he still does. Like I said with that record, but it is
Life by Stereo, man. Come on,
it is
joint go.
It is just like Jesus talked about, like the four soils and how seed fell on the different soils. Yeah. And what happens for one of those that he describes is, for a season it looked like it was about to go somewhere and do something. but then nah,
couple of problems came through,
and that's all. And if you listen to it, go back and listen to JR's thing, and then read that passage, you'll see exactly which one.
Because
somebody died, somebody betrayed him,
somebody died. George Floyd.
Every time, right?
I'm at a predominantly white church. I'm an elder, and I'm seeing them going, oh, but what did he do? He shouldn't have been selling illegal cigarettes, and he probably wouldn't have been in that. And you mix all that stuff.
The dude that got choked out.
That got choked out.
Yeah, dude that got choked out. That was somebody's dad. Dude, that was sad.
So
Eric,
I get it. I get the frustration because we felt the frustration too, but it didn't make me be like, I don't know about this Jesus thing anymore. I was just frustrated with people not handling it right, and people who profess to know the Lord not seeming to know, have sensitivity on stuff like this, and to really know justice in certain things, and just you might not even want to agree with me as a fellow brother, but then see my distress, see how it affects me, and then just be a little sensitive just because I'm going through it. Yeah. And we weren't seeing enough of that.
I got a question for you on that. I've been telling you I got a question, but Bookie, go ahead and I'm gonna ask. Go ahead, I got a question.
Oh no, I think we go back to like we were talking earlier. Like, where's the community?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
he said he talked to
that's part of the problem.
Couple
Bookie.
people.
But here's the different twist on his. He was an elder at his church.
The community sometimes is part of the problem, which brings up my question.
Yeah.
How much of the American Christian experience do you think we have right? How much of the American Christian experience is actually biblical? And I'm talking about your church, Bookie, your church, Jay, my church. How much do you think we have it right? Because and do it on a scale of percentages, like 80%.
I think American anything is tainted.
Yeah,
that's fair. So it's not 100. We all knew that. It's never going to be 100. But and I don't mean like, okay, we're totally disqualified because we don't fill in the blank, whatever. But how much of it do you think?
But let me go back to this.
Go ahead.
Like I said, I watched the video before I sent it out because I wanted to see it and everything. So when I mean community, I mean someone that, like I always tell people, just because you're a Christian don't mean you're compatible. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think your church experience, your community, you need some compatibility.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
What you mean.
So if I'm out and, you know what I'm saying, someone that can't relate to my culture, if that's my community, I'm going to feel a certain type of way.
Yeah. You might not want to worship there every Sunday.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then if we can't, you know what I'm saying, like,
be yourself.
If your experience, you can't understand my experiences.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to talk to you. Like we had this a few episodes back, like when you was talking about your accountability partner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can't understand my experiences, it's hard for me to talk to you.
Right.
Yeah.
To express myself.
That's good.
So that's what I mean by like community. Because he kept talking about how he appreciate Flame, how he appreciate Jason, Craig, and different people like that. But how many? But were you actually walking with them in a community? During this period of time, because he started talking about mental illness and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, community don't solve your individual responsibility. I know you ain't saying that, but that's something that need to be said. Community is wonderful, but it's going to be up to me to walk this out or not.
True that.
Yeah, but when you but the way where he's placing the blame, you know what I'm saying? It was like I didn't have nobody there. You know what I'm saying? Like they when all this was happening, they said that like Jay was saying, oh, was he selling Lucy's? Was he doing this? Was he doing that? Yeah. And so it made me walk away from the faith because the brother didn't recognize the fault of the police. You know what I'm saying?
So that's what I'm asking.
That's a big jump.
You know what I'm saying?
From I'm disagreeing with my brother, and then ain't no God.
And then I started,
come on, bro. like how do you jump that far over, bro?
Then he where's the grave sites of what I'm saying, these people that died, you know what I'm saying, in the Bible, but bro, my great grandfather died. I don't know where his grave site is. You know what I'm saying? And I heard stories about it, you know what I'm saying? But
it's just like that's what made me be like, man, I don't care, because to me, it was like, okay, you went through some struggles, but how do you came out of those? That's like I said, back to the parable of the seeds, is hard times came.
Okay, so
and you just said deuces, and I'm like, I see that in scripture.
That's fair. So here's the other side, though. You know, we gotta go put the shoe on the other foot. Be honest. How much of what people are talking about as they walk out the door when they do their exit interview, how much of it do we need to say bad soil, and how much of it do we need to say bad situation, bad setup? We have a bad setup with this.
Yeah,
you think it's 60%? We got 60% right, 80% right.
I think,
and I'm not talking about disqualifying your church.
I'm just saying,
be honest.
That's hard. I see what you're saying, James. That's
what do you think?
Hard.
I know.
To gauge.
I want your gauge. I want your gauge because you've seen a lot. You've seen how we handle politics. You've seen how we handle marriage. You've seen how we handle misogyny and patriarchy. You've seen how we handle money. You've seen how we handle talking to your opposition, gentleness and respect. How much do you think we have right? It's just our opinion, right?
I see my church doing very good.
No, the church, not your church.
No,
church.
The church is the church I'm connected to the most and the people I spend the most time with. So I have to speak on.
That's how you have to gauge it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they have done a great job because they're one, I think what solves a lot of this stuff is expository preaching and teaching. So people need to know their Bible. And once you know your Bible, because the Bible answers all this stuff and it helps you navigate. Like the message that we got this morning where it was about it was in Acts and the Hellenistic Jews was getting passed over. The widows and stuff was getting passed over. If you really look at that passage, that deals with racism. Within the church. That's exactly what that's dealing with.
Explicit racism.
And no one, it can happen. So it can happen in your church today. So there could be racism in your church right now. All right? So the Bible addresses it. But it tells us how to deal with it. First of all, bring it up.
Yeah.
Bring it to the elders. Hey, there's something wrong with this. And then get the right people within the congregation to address it. And it came through a lot of prayer. It wasn't just like Kevin was saying, it wasn't just, hey, dude over there, he could do that, or whatever. They really prayed about it and put the right people over there and corrected that. So now in 2024, when you be like, oh man, can you believe that there's racism in this church over here? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, look at your Bible.
Because if you knew your Bible, there's a remedy for that, and you gotta handle it. So I think that's the biggest one.
They didn't sanitize it in the book. They say this what happened, y'all.
Exactly.
They wasn't paying no attention to the Greeks.
On purpose.
On purpose. And they did not sanitize it or try to whitewash it at all.
Because that's cultural stuff, right? Ain't nothing new under the sun. So that's going to happen.
Right.
And that's going to happen in America.
Put enough people in a group, you're going to get all this.
That's it, right?
Somebody going to lie about how much they got for their house.
Obviously, right? So you got people lying about money.
We thought it was going to go for 300, but so we got the 300.
So you got people dealing with greed.
All that.
And that. So one, I think that's the biggest. Equipping everybody to know their Bible. So know that, people have been through this before. This ain't new. And there is a remedy to fix it. It's not. It may not be easy. You're going to have to toil, prayer and fasting, all that in between that. But there is help. I
still want a number. I'm with you. I still want a number. 70%, 60%.
Nah, I just
Where do you think we at?
I'm at this age, dude. Like I said, America began by people stealing something.
A little bit. Yeah.
That's the foundation of it. We stole this to get this started, right?
Get a few folks
and then we stole some people from somewhere else to help us build it, right? And then we asked God to bless it all. Like, this might not end well. You know what I mean? it sure didn't start well. So it may not. So I think every level of society, we're going to struggle because of how the country is built, or all of this, because there's so much corruption.
And I question whether or not it was Christians actually doing this stuff.
Absolutely.
I think Christianity was involved.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if these were Christians. I know Christianity was at the foundation of it, but I don't know how many Christians was there.
Yeah, real. When you got slaves like Frederick Douglass talking about, I believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
I just don't know if these white folks that's enslaving us believe in the same Jesus. And you got to get there.
Yes.
You got it to survive America. You got to get there.
Yeah.
Like, no, my faith is in Christ of this Bible. Just everybody ain't doing it. And everybody who's naming his name ain't moving right. So I don't know if they, but I'm still going to trust. I'm not going to be like, well, it ain't no God. Or I'm gonna go back to worshiping the moon and then, like Abraham was doing before God called him, or get into something else, because it's you can trust the word of God. And one thing that always brings me, and we talked about it recently, one thing that brings me joy is the knowledge of the Ethiopian church.
I was about to say that.
If you have knowledge of the Ethiopian church, never been colonized, and was heavy on Christianity, was viewed, I don't know if it's still, but viewed as a Christian nation, right?
Yeah, it's still a Christian.
Yeah, and it had none of these influences, right? So something happened, but over here,
and that wasn't the first time that our ancestors heard of Christianity.
Exactly. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It's not right. But the Bible addresses that. Mm-hmm. We connect some of that to the Ethiopian eunuch that was witnessed to. They connect that to that. So it's kind of like, yeah, I see it. But it's just that when it comes to American, and I'm not anti-America. America is what it is. But if we tell the truth, it's just some crazy stuff going on here. American church, tainted. American politics, tainted. American, government, tainted. The law enforcement, tainted. It's just every level is tainted, and we see it.
Just the reason why I'm asking this, because I don't need a specific. You still won't give me a number, but the reason why I'm asking this is because all like high performing organizations, they do exit interviews. They want to find out why people are leaving.
Yeah.
They don't just, we can always throw the bad soil scripture at everybody because that's going to be true in the final analysis. That's going to be true. Yep. But in the meantime, while we here ruining each other's lives sometimes, it needs to be figured out, why do people leave?
Well, let me tell you.
People do exit interviews so they can find out why you want to leave, Bookie.
Let me tell you what my exit interview would be when I leave.
Leave
Gardena.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't leave the fake, Bookie.
When I leave Gardena, my exit interview, I didn't like here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's why I left.
Yeah, I didn't like it here.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just what
that's what they saying.
That's what they're saying.
I don't like this. Yeah. I don't like being here.
I don't like the rules. I want to have sex with multiple women.
Yep.
I want to do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why they leave it.
So
you can blame it on not finding Moses' grave all you want. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you, Bookie.
I'm not saying JR want to sleep with a bunch of women. So let me get this right. I'm just saying, like, people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they want to do whatever they want to do.
They want to do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Tired of the rules.
And I'm gonna relate this to like my real career job, right? Mm-hmm. So we have people. I got recruited for this other position. It was like a homeless emergency response team. Sure. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at I'm researching, I'm looking at it. Mm-hmm. When you look at the homeless crisis, there's a lot of shelters in LA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of these people want to be under the freeway because they don't want to live by the rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the same thing with
they don't have a bed for every person out here. Don't do that.
No.
They need an extra bed for every person that's out here. That's
they have enough. Listen, for the actual homeless people, there are communities for these people. They've turned old hotels downtown into rooms for these people to stay at. They have to live by, you can't drink, you can't smoke whatever you're smoking.
Yeah.
You have to be in by a certain time.
Can't be violent.
They don't want to live by those rules.
And if you really need a place
out
to
on the
stay,
street,
some of them
you can do what you want to do.
Do some of them, Bookie.
Yeah.
The ones that want to live by the rules, that want to really actually better them lives, they're in the shelter. They're not even shelters. They're rooms for these people.
Nah, there's One bed for every 2 people. That's the latest number.
Listen, I know people that work in these facilities.
I know.
Yeah.
There's people. Listen,
I know the people.
They have rooms available.
Yeah.
For these people to stay. These people are staying outside of the place. And it's like Mardi Gras. If you go down Scare Road, it's like Mardi Gras at night, bro. They're playing music.
Yeah.
They're smoking on the curb.
Yeah.
They're walking down the street.
Yeah.
You can barely drive down the street.
Yeah.
Because these people's outside partying.
Yeah.
And there's rooms available in the facilities.
That's not everybody's story, but
I'm not saying everybody's
generalizing like
Listen,
that.
I'm not saying everybody's story. Just like it's not everybody's story why they left the faith like that because they've been done wrong by the church.
All right.
Yeah.
That's not everybody's story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people's story is they're tired of living by the rules.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people's story is. Because if you ask them, you can make up a whole lot of stuff. Just like Jay was saying, I didn't even watch it with Jay, and I'm thinking the same thing. So you mean to tell me because this dude got killed by the police, because you can't find the grave sites,
and you got personal
God ain't real
tragedy
no, and
in your
yeah,
life.
and
Ain't
somebody
no
didn't die, so now Jesus ain't real no more.
Like, where do you make that jump?
You have a Grammy for Tonight with Flame. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you all of me tonight.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden
that means nothing.
That means nothing.
Yeah. And I don't understand it. I just, I continue to ask the Lord, keep me or whatever, because obviously you can go left or whatever. So Lord, keep me. But here's what's sad. I really sense, because a lot of the issues that got up, especially the Vince one that got up, it just seems like the scriptures say men are led away by their own lust, bruh. Mm-hmm. And you want to, deep down inside, do whatever you want to do. I understand that appeal, but I also know the sneakiness of that, because you're getting excited because now you could do whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do.
Whenever, and that excites you. Like, man, I could do whatever. Don't know, but I can sleep around or whatever I want to do. Or I can just play video games all day. I don't, they just, your heart goes, I don't have to live by any rules, anybody else's rules.
Just like your boy left the faith and created a porn video.
You know what? I don't know.
That's it. That's on the table.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah.
So that's what I'm seeing. People just really want to do whatever they want to do. And that is no different than the play that Satan ran in the garden.
Yeah. It's
period. To get mankind off is just say, man, ain't nothing bad gonna happen to you. Mm-hmm. Ain't nothing bad gonna happen. Boy, you get to do whatever you want. You've been looking at these other folks you've been looking over the fence long enough and seeing these other people just having prosperous life. Ain't nothing happening to them either.
What the scriptures say, when I look, my feet almost died. That man did the slip and slide.
Exactly. And that's all. You're being enticed by, I can do whatever I want to, and now it's bringing you this sense of peace.
I'm gonna let y'all get that off, but I need y'all to recognize how much.
Let me see if her bed really the way to hell.
No, James,
I'm gonna let y'all get that off, because you're right. Y'all are 100% right, and I agree. I think we still have to realize that these things that we talk about that bother us a little bit, they add up over time. And they can add up to the point where you just like, I need a different experience.
And here's the thing.
Because you relate to something. We've been talking about the traditions. We've been talking about all this stuff that you can relate to.
But I'm trying to tell you.
We all know there's a level of truth there.
But I'm trying to tell you where it ends, because all of that stuff frustrates me, to no end. But that stuff is because of the sin of men.
So yeah, that's all I'm saying is let's talk about it. Let's not just throw the that's just bad, so you never was a part of this at everybody, and instead of looking at what we're doing to contribute to these people saying, I don't like it here. Like Bookie said, when somebody says I don't like it here in an exit interview, people get fired at high performing organizations.
Yep.
Somebody's gonna get written up, talked to, possibly fired. Why are you creating an environment that people don't want to stay at? Because it's really expensive to bring somebody that's talented back into an organization. Well, it's really expensive. So, I mean, this is way more important. But So then we should be policing the door on the way in and on the way out. Why are you leaving again? Oh, because of this, that, and the third. Okay, well, 2 of those, we know that that's just sin nature. Like y'all saying, I'm with it. But 1 of them or 2 of them, we need to go back to the drawing board.
I'm not saying.
Do we have this, right?
Yeah, but here's my thing, James. I'm not saying we don't have, everything is perfect and they're the problem. Like we don't have it. I just finished saying the Bible says that you could be at a solid church and you guys have problems inside of this solid church.
Yeah.
And this is how you're supposed to maneuver and work.
That's
now,
right.
if you don't go and you don't believe that and you don't do what it say, then 9 times out of 10, you just going to go on your merry way and do whatever you want to and say, yeah, I tried that, blah, blah, blah. Did you, though? Did you really, really try it? Because what you've said on video is recorded. All your words is recorded. I can just go back and listen. And based on what you actually just said, trials in your life came. You saw some things that weren't handled right in your church. And then it equaled, I don't believe God anymore exists. Yeah. Like, dude. Like, I don't understand how you could, because I understand all the other stuff that you say. Because guess what? I got trials in my life too. Yeah. And they will rub you the wrong way. And it will make you question, God, well, what are you doing? So I get that. I understand that there's issues within the church that are ugly. The Bible addresses that. But did you do your part?
That's facts. That's facts.
Or did you use it as a moment to say, you know what? I'm just going to go and do whatever. And I just believe that it is a slow burn, because what happens with him was he went on sabbatical. He talked about that. Okay. I was on sabbatical, and then I started watching all this stuff. And he was like, they even laughed at when I said they even joked that when I said I was going on sabbatical, like, are you going to come back? Or are you know? And in his mind, it's like, because if you get out of the system and you're not going to church and you're not going whatever, you're going to find the truth if you don't do all those things. Well,
if you unplug from the matrix.
Yeah, that's because he even used the matrix as the example. I just, took the other pill. And I'm like, oh, so now you want to call the Bible fiction and then you use another piece of fiction to put your faith in. Okay. It was like the Matrix. Okay. All right, bruh. Whatever. At the bottom of that is just say it. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. I just got to that point.
Listen,
before you get started, Jay, let me get this.
Go ahead.
So the current position where I'm at with the city of Gardena is the department is recreation, right? Mm-hmm. I've worked for LA County Park and Recreation. Mm-hmm. I've worked for the city of Paramount Recreation. Mm-hmm. I hated at the city of Gardena Recreation.
Yeah,
I loved it at LA County.
Yep.
So that don't mean I'm gonna just totally leave the recreation field.
Yes.
I will go back to LA County.
Yeah.
I will go back to the city of Paramount.
Yeah.
So my experience here at City of Gardena doesn't make me hate the whole recreation department.
That's it.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So his experience, even like you said, his experience with these people that he was at, I mean, it'll leave you, you know what I'm saying, a feeling a certain type of way.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't make you throw away the whole faith. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's my thing.
Yeah, I was just recapping. I'm saying the same thing a different way. It's like at some point we got to be honest. There's no innocent parties in these conversations. His list is getting long, man. Steve Lawson and people like Vincent Bantu, and it's just the list is getting long.
Paul at the end of his ministry had a list too.
He did,
and he named all them people. He named them people by name.
He fully abandoned him.
It fully abandoned him. So what does that tell me? That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen in your generation.
John Mark made it back though. John Mark made it back.
And we pray that some of these people make it back as well.
Right. Somebody gonna make it back. I made it back. But I went through all the same stuff.
But when you listen to those people, look what they did though. He went and got a young girl. He went and got another girl. You know what I'm saying? This isn't something that the church is doing to you.
That stuff
this you doing. Lust of your heart.
That's pulling
that's
you.
That's the part that we see. Yeah. That don't mean that that's all that happened. Right? Every time they talk about some of the things that we could have done different. We got to just own up to a couple. I'm not saying y'all not saying that.
We are bringing saying that part
out. Yeah, y'all know
we're
that.
Saying we do.
I'm bringing that part out like, hey, before we just assume it's another case of they was never they was never genuine. Let's make sure that we having the other conversation too. Like, all right, are we doing everything we need to do?
We all know that.
You know what I'm saying? Are we having that conversation?
There's fault in churches. You know what I'm saying? But the faults that's there should not take you away from Christ.
That's one truth.
You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
Yeah.
That's not the only that's not the only question we should be asking.
But I'm saying, as far as these instances that we're seeing, this is what it's looking like. You know what I'm saying? They're blaming the church. Well, I don't even know about the other two, Bantu and Lawson. I don't even know who they.
Yeah.
Well, no, that might not be. They didn't leave the face, so that might not be
saying.
fair. So,
Yeah.
But like you could say Fanatic and I forgot the other one, Joseph Solomon, and it's one other one on my mind, but I can't think.
But
of
they're
right
blaming the church
Red
for
Cloud.
their lust. You know what I'm saying? The lustful actions and different things like that. So.
Yeah.
Understood.
Man.
But I want to end with this one, this subject here, because I think this is good, and it kind of like kind of ties into like it's a marriage topic, but it's tied into you saw something bad. Like people can have bad marriages and maybe even experience divorce, but don't give up on marriage totally, right? And then because it's kind of along the same line. And then some people can have a bad experience and be like, man, I ain't never get married again, and blah, 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 like throw away the whole thing. But what was interesting about this thing, because I think this is real, and I think we all can relate to this, and this was posted by, obviously, a lady who was married, because the caption is like, being married before and experiencing divorce. I know all about the gap, if y'all remember this video. But let me play it so y'all can hear and, see, and tell me if y'all really do relate. Hope I got it queued up right.
My wife said to me one day, yo, we need to have a conversation. You're not intimate enough. I don't feel intimacy. I'm gonna be real. I was like, I don't even know what that means. She said, you don't spend intimate time with me. So I said, I didn't know that you felt like I wasn't intimate. If we never talked about it during this time, when would you have told me? And she said, I don't know when it would have came up. Now watch. When we don't communicate, it creates a gap. From the time Tyshawn is supposed to say something to the time Tyshawn actually says something, everything in between here is what? A gap. And everything happens in the gap. People get divorced in the gap. Other chicks and other dudes enter the equation in the gap.
Facts.
People get information misconstrued in the gap. Every relationship, every couple, your number one priority is to close your gaps.
Wow.
I thought that was some food for thought and something good, because I do relate to that, and I do believe like when you do have these gaps, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be in a marriage relationship. It can also be in just a regular friendship or whatever, and there might be some tension or there or whatever, and then there's some space where I think a lot of bad things can enter, and you can tell yourself bad stories. But for us who are sitting here and we married, can y'all relate to that, of wanting to close the gap?
Well, I just had a conversation. I had a conversation with a coworker a couple weeks ago, and it was a relationship conversation, and I was telling her, I said when you lose intimacy with your partner, especially when you're married, you're not speaking, and you're doing this, and he's saying closing that gap, especially for a man. See, you're with people at work a lot of times, some days more than you actually with your spouse. You're there 9 hours, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? So for a man, and even especially a woman, it's easy to have an emotional affair. You know what I'm saying? But even before the physical affair. So when he's talking about closing that gap, you have to, because you can't leave room for anything to creep in. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if you're saved or not saved. You know what I'm saying? And so even at times when even if I feel like distant from my wife, because I mean, you know when you feeling distant from your wife. If y'all not
Absolutely.
getting, if y'all
ain't clicking.
y'all not
Yeah.
not even arguing, but you know you just
Yeah.
like ain't really seeing eye to eye.
Yep.
And you can't ignore that.
Nope.
It has to be talked about.
Yep.
Babe, I'm feeling a certain kind of way. Now my wife she's really good at that. Bookie, you're not giving me enough attention. You're not giving me enough emotional support.
Yep.
And I have to check myself.
Yep.
Especially during football season.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
I have to check myself like, yo,
Yeah.
all right, I'm there. I'm in tune. I'm listening.
Yeah.
My antennas are up.
Yep.
And it has to be intentional. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Because if you
They don't just happen by itself.
That gap can get wider and wider.
Yes.
And different things can creep in. So I totally agree with what he's saying.
James?
Yeah. Nah, you know what it made me think about? That big fight me and you had one time. So Bookie, listen.
Lord.
No, it made me think about it because it was in the gap that we were on two different pages about something that we were seeing from different perspectives.
Yeah.
So Bookie, we have this meeting where it was a bunch of couples. We go on vacation together. So we go to somebody's house and we talk through the details, like what events will we go to, what excursions will we go to, how much money y'all want to spend, how dope of a house y'all want to rent. You know, what day we kind of come back with airline, how you want, all that stuff. So we sitting down, we having this after lunch on maybe like a Sunday. It's like 20 of us there. And something had went down with somebody like a mutual friend that I wanted to do some business with. The business went like fully left, like in a bad way. It went fully left, right?
Yeah.
And then Jay wants to do business with this person again so that we can have, I think, maybe like T-shirts for the vacation. Yeah. And he's trying to get me to come clean about what I'm really saying about this T-shirt situation.
Yeah.
And he's like, because, you know, Jay don't like that fake stuff. Just say what you mean. And I'm trying to save, from my perspective, honest. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I don't want to embarrass this person.
Yeah.
Because
And I can see that.
everybody in the room knows him.
Yep.
And I feel like what I have beef with him about is my personal preference.
Yeah.
It's not something everybody else has to co-sign.
Yeah.
But once you cross me, I don't do business with you
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And I have that right.
Yeah.
I have to forgive you. I have to not slander your name. And so I'm trying my hardest not to slander this person's name.
Yeah.
This nigga will not let up off of me. Like, just say what you mean. And he has a right to be like, just say what you mean because you feel away. Why don't you just say what you mean? Because you know you feel away. And I'm like, yeah, but you I don't know if we saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And it just blew up. It was horrible. I felt so bad. We blew this whole meeting up, bro. we blew it. You know what I'm saying? Remember, Jay?
I remember.
Because he was right in a way. He was like, just be real. Stop trying to save face. And I was like, nah. And
Because what I'm trying to push is this dude could do our T-shirts, but
Yeah.
Jay's like, man, I'm not feeling that because he didn't have bad business
Right.
with it, right? And you put the shoe on the other foot. I get it. Like, nah, I bumped this dude, but I'm thinking this dude could get it done.
Yeah.
Let's not even try to make it harder in a
Right.
sense. That's what I
So
what
I wasn't
remember.
saying don't give him the business. Jay
Yeah.
was saying he'll take it because you clearly, James, you on something else. So I'll do it. Don't worry about it. And I was like, yeah, do it. Because I definitely don't want to be
Deal with dude.
involved
Yeah.
if it's going to be with dude.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to be involved. But he not knowing that because I never said that.
Yeah.
So he's saying, why are you going back and forth? Like,
Yeah.
what's the problem? You
Yeah.
know how to help with the T-shirt. What are you doing?
Yeah.
If you got something to say it. And I was like, this one I want to say, which is why I'm trying.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
slander this man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In my heart, I want to slander this man every chance I get.
Yeah.
Even right now, I want to slander this man. You know what I'm saying?
You might have a right to now, but I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That ain't right.
But that's what he was saying. Like, if you clearly have beef, why don't you go solve that beef instead of blowing up what we doing?
Yeah.
And I didn't say that either. I was like, this can't be fixed right now.
Yeah.
This can't be fixed right now. This person has crossed me in a different type of way. So we can be cordial. We can be like, friendly. But we can't do business.
Yeah.
And he didn't know any of that. So he's pushing like, hey, what are you doing? Like,
it's something there.
What are you doing? There's something there. And if you're not going, why don't you just go solve it?
Yeah.
So we can move on. And I'm like, I did that already. And we not saying none of that.
That's
stuff.
what
That's the gap to me. Like, we didn't have none of those. We had that conversation the next day.
Yeah.
After we blew up and ruined everybody's day.
They were like, okay. I thought we were planning fun. Whoa.
Yeah. They tried to stop it too. They was like, well, you guys can talk about that a little. I was like, no, we got to talk about that right now.
It was one of them moments.
Terrible, man. I felt so bad.
But we ended up making one of the funniest T-shirts too.
Yeah.
As a result of
we
that.
fixed it, but that was like our biggest fight And all it
Yeah,
was there were things I needed to say. I didn't want to say in front of 20 people.
Yeah.
And he was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what's your problem? And I'm like, I don't want to say what my problem is because everything in me wants to be like real petty right now. So I ended up being,
and that's what I was
being
saying.
petty to him instead of to the other dude.
But that's what I was saying. Like this even applies to friendships as well. You know, when it's not clear communication, because that's what's at the core of it.
Yeah,
and I see it even at home. You know, with the missus, that's when we have the biggest struggles, when there's a lack of communication. And if you do let that gap go, the harder it could be to kind of close it. And so now in, like 22 years of marriage now, it's always about closing that gap. Like as soon as possible, as soon as you see it there, or, it's a few hours of, and we ain't talking. And like you said, Bookie, it's subtle because sometimes it's not an argument that sets it. It's just over time. It might be some tension, something that you ain't talking about or something that she ain't talking about, and we didn't have no argument about it. It's just like you start making assumptions. Well, I know how it's gonna go if I bring this up, and you start doing those stories to yourself. And I'm like, that's not good on no level with no relationship. If you start feeling like you got to start making up the stories, because it was explained to me like this. This was one of the therapy sessions. It was explained to me that a part of survival, and I don't know if I totally agree with it, but I hear it and I understood it. But a part of human survival is to make caution stories to ourselves, to keep ourselves safe.
Yeah.
But it's not reality. It's just what you thinking to try to keep yourself safe. You're not gonna know until you actually have the conversation with somebody and clear the air. And we all know how good we feel after we do that. You clear it, and then something. A lot of times it's not as bad as what you thought, because you actually said something. You laugh. What you think about?
As you talking, I'm just thinking because that's what Didi does. She was like, I already know what you gonna say. I already know how you gonna act. Yep. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna react that way. Yes. I'm not gonna say that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so, yeah.
So if it stay like that and we stay in that realm, y'all never gonna connect. You know what I mean? Because you just telling yourself, and we always in our own mind, like, no, we right. Like we always gonna be like, yeah, that's what it is. But you really don't know until you had a conversation. It's been so many times where I told myself, I already know how it's gonna go, whatever, and then I talked to my wife, and it's just like, nope, that's not how it is, and that's not how she feel. That's not even what she was thinking. And you go, man, I could have played myself if I stayed in that state, for a long time.
Have y'all seen Inside Out 2 yet?
No. Nah, I seen the first one.
It's this part on Inside Out 2. It's not no spoiler or nothing. It's a part on Inside Out 2 where anxiety takes over. All the different things have like a character. Anxiety takes over the imagination room.
Wow.
And starts telling imagination, hey, your job is to create all the caution stories for us. We want to know what all the negative possibilities are.
Yeah.
And the anxiety wouldn't allow no other imagination. All you get to do is tell me what the bad things are that we need to avoid.
Yeah.
And then, the other characters came in like,
Out
that's not good. Like this anxiety
Yeah.
cannot just take over the imagination, just run wild. It was super dope. That was a super dope part of the movie.
Nah, I think that movie is I remember seeing the first one, and it was like, yo, this is on some mental health, but it's on some healthy, and it's real subtle how they did this. And it makes you think about how you perceive things. And I think
good talks on the way home with the kids.
It is.
Yeah, that was one of the dopest cartoon movies I've seen.
Yeah. But it's those caution stories you're talking about. Like those are to keep us from falling off cliffs and getting ate by bears.
Because what we say.
But that's all they're for.
Exactly. We'll be like, I don't know if I should climb up this hill because I've never done this. I don't have any equipment. And then you think about what could happen. But I could fall over, and it'll keep you from doing it, right? But that shouldn't be how you handle your wife's situation about it. like man, it could
that's
be
for sharks and electricity.
Like I could drown. I don't know how to swim, and then you play out what that looked like. He like, I'm not getting in.
Right.
And
I get mad
true.
at I get mad at Didi when she do that.
What's that?
Be like, I already knew what she go when she come in. Be like that, like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I already know how you gonna react. She's like, how you know I'm gonna react? You know I'm gonna react. I could have did something different this time.
And that's
This
true.
time.
This
That's
is
great.
this time. But we will change. You know, we don't do the same thing in the same time. We have our favorites and things that like she don't expect you to like no other football team, right? And she would be right about that. Those are certain things that's like, yo, he a Raider fan. That's
Proven track record.
yeah, proven over the years. He's not going to be rooting for the Cowboys next year.
Right,
I don't see that, right? But then it's like certain things that you eat this year, you might not like it anymore. Next year, like, nah, that ain't my spot no more. I did that like that. So you can't treat that just like your Raider, dedication. So and we can't do that to them either. You know what I mean? They change up. We can't be like, well, I thought this was your favorite and just act crazy. It's like she human. She don't like that no more.
Have you ever had an attitude before you even asked her the question because you knew that you weren't gonna like that?
Because you didn't believe the story.
Yeah,
you didn't already told
you. You didn't already played the whole story out. I already know how she gonna react.
Yep.
So I already got an attitude going in before I asked her.
And not knowing that attitude is causing more problems.
Exactly.
Too. Like, man, I didn't cause more problems with that for no reason.
Yes.
Blowing up the bridge, somebody told me at church today, another brother told me at church, I was saying something to my wife. He listened to the pod. That boy said, don't blow up the bridge. And I was like, I fell out laughing so hard. I was like, yeah, buddy, thank you. Thank you for saving me. I was just about to go down that road. But that's it, fellas. This has been a good one. I really enjoyed this conversation. And if you are drop us a line. We'd like to hear from you. You want to hear like some other topics, something that you don't think we've addressed enough, or you want us to expound more on, hit us up, man. The email is in the description of the pod. No matter where you're listening from, you can look at the description and find it. And we want y'all to keep rocking with us. And again, like I said in the beginning, thank y'all for rocking with us this long. But at this point, grab a glass as we end this. It's a really bad toast. We all fall, but we say don't trip. We all been called, but all stall a bit. We all stand tall until that time we slip. Just admit, without the grace of God, I'm really bad at this.